YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We're gonna unbox something today. It's been sitting in my office waiting for things to be in stock. And then it decided to manifest itself for your very viewing pleasure right here today. As I'm struggling with a cold, so my apologies in advance on the audio. Fortunately for you, the wonderful narration from the camera crew will be back intact because she's getting better now.
You're welcome.
I've been wanting to do this for a few years.
I know, you have.
Avios C-130. This is the V2. Booyah. I'm assuming it's Coast Guard. That's what we were shooting for. But we're gonna see. I think there's more than one livery, but they have the civilian transport and the U.S. Coast Guard.
It says USCG on the end of the box.
Good. But it's not marked on this box. So the Avios box is not marked. So I'm just gonna slide this out real quick. So guys, welcome to Brian Phillips RC. We unbox them, we build them, we do all the radio setup, and when it's all said and done, you've already seen the flight to determine whether or not it's worth getting. And we want you guys to know that with this C-130 as well, okay? So, no mistake, make no mistake, we love this hobby, and we are here to help. And that's why we're gonna show start to finish the entire process. And not only are we gonna try to help you make a good decision on whether or not you might wanna buy this based on your personal circumstances, but we're gonna help you to know how to do it and get the most out of it, or at least have a baseline for setting it up in a way that you can fly it and enjoy it. Okay, so without further ado, we'll unpack it. Okay, thanks for being with us. If you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, we've been doing this about 10 years. And when we started, we used to work with Hobby King on a lot of different stuff, meaning we were getting a lot of Hobby King stuff because we were in the hobby. But we finally have started working with them a few years back, what, 2 years back or so?
Yeah, about that.
And met Stuart out at Knoll. Second time we met him, shortly thereafter, we ended up kind of starting our relationship with them. So if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, look no further than the links in the video description below. We'll help drive some sales for them by bringing light to particular items that they might offer and tell them the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. So if it sucks, you also hear that here on Brian Phillips RC. All right, so first things first, we've got the right wing, quick disconnect, pretty sweet.
Nice.
Huge wing joiner rod. And of course, it's a quad engine. We have 4 engines, split flap here, and then an inboard flap, huge inboard flap, and then an outboard aileron. Looks like they might be slotted. I'm kind of curious about that. Ooh, I left my knife over there. So this build, from what I understand, is a little bit more involved because it's a complicated plane. If that's the case, then that usually means it's going to take us 4,000 years to do it. So it's a good time to do it while you're sick.
Perfect.
Yeah. But to their defense, we could have done this a while ago. That is really nice looking, actually. And I'm seeing something there. It looks like a drop tank, maybe.
Oh,
magnet. There's a light here.
Okay.
So the nacelles are smaller. So if you guys are thinking like EC-130, oh wow, look at that. Look at that flap.
Oh.
That's a cool flap.
Cool.
It sucks right in there.
It does.
See that? It's like a, I think they call that a slot. Is that a slotted flap? But then the aileron, that's not attached yet, but it's pinned. It's pinned. That's weird. See? Hinges. Pinned hinges. Really nice. So, got a nice sturdy wing. But this is a lot smaller in terms of the engine nacelles than the EC-135. So is it a 135? It is 135,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, EC-135. Of course, we always had ours in the Nemo finish, then we ended up doing the V2 in the gray, and then I crashed it like an idiot, doing stupid maneuvering. I wish I wouldn't have. I really like that plane. But I will say this. My fear about this plane is it's not going to fly near as good, but this is V2. So I'm hoping that V2 manifests itself a little bit better than the V1, and so we're hoping that the improvements will be enjoyed. And it's not just a different livery, okay?
Sure, I'll
check out my rod.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of thick-walled. Definitely carbon fiber. Let's just stick it right in the wing. Okay, so I hit the bottom, I bottomed out.
Okay.
We've noticed something weird about Hobby King planes. Whether it's Avios brand or one of their third-party brands, sometimes the wing joiners will like slide into the wing and you'll like have issues with that. We've never had that. I don't think with any other models. Not that it's manifest, like for instance, that Catalina, awesome plane by the way. I swear I was flying it one time and I heard it slipping.
Yeah, like tips.
Totally weird. Okay, what a gorgeous spinner.
Yeah, no kidding.
And prop, but look, the only thing I don't like about that is good luck getting a replacement without buying it from them, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with buying it from them. It might be kind of nice to not have to. But also you're gonna wanna pay attention to these because they are gonna be, I bet they're gonna be different, spinning different directions. So they should be counter-rotating. Yeah, these are the same. How do you know they're the same? Lay them on top of each other. The pitch is the same, okay? So then we'll go to the other two. And these are attached together. I don't know if that means it'd be smart to wait on this, but I mean, we're gonna figure out what direction they go at some point. Okay, so we have another one.
Yeah, those are different.
Counter-rotating because they're the same pitch here, okay? Or lay it atop. You can see they're counter-rotating versus each other. So sweet, counter-rotating. That means you're gonna have no P factor to worry about with all these spinning masses going around. So that's pretty awesome. I always like those scale features to it. And by the way, I love the paint job on there. And I love the little detailed print on the inboard portion of the prop. Very, very cool. All right, so as we continue this unbox, we've got a couple of foam pieces. I don't know exactly what those are for.
Okay.
And as you can see, it's pretty well packaged. We have seen good things from Hobby King of late. Like I said, every once in a while we see an idiosyncrasy, like the wing joiners slipping and sliding in there. But by and large, they've been really good planes. Huge improvement from what we were seeing 10 years ago. Huge improvement. I mean, not even in the same echelon, because these planes are coming out of the bags in boxes. Very consistently good planes. We've had a few that were kind of a pain to build though. The Spitfire was a pain.
Yes.
But it was an awesome plane once it was built. Very good flying plane. Very powerful, very nice. And I guess honestly, if I'm gonna pick between a plane that functioned well, it's a difficult build, versus an easy build for a piece of crap that I don't want to fly, definitely would I'd rather have a difficult build. By the way, I wanted to point out a couple of things. Look at the hinges on this. That is so cool. The offset hinges, and they look really clean. These are press fit. And that's going to go to the servo here, but then there's a second servo for that inboard flap, for the split flap, but I don't know, it's not wanting to break free. I don't know if that is like held in by something else. I think it might be. I wonder if you have to like break it out to use it. But we'll find out. And then also the nacelles. Look how nice those nacelles look. Painted tips, nice protection on the front, and then nice smooth foam, but it is unpainted. Some of you guys are not gonna like that. I personally could care less if it's painted. I just soon save the weight. Some people really get held up on that. To me, never been an issue. Okay. Very nice looking vertical stabilizer. By the way, something weird about, have you noticed that I had to cut every bag open?
Oh, yeah.
They're not just in the bags, they have to be cut opened.
Yep.
And these are thick mill plastic, I should point that out too. Look, same thing, pinned. And then look at that, that's very nice. I kind of would have liked to see that up on top too. It would help protect if you have a flip over, but I still think we're gonna flip it over that often. The lines show through on the decals. Oh, notice we don't have to apply the decals.
Yep.
Big plastic receiver, good strength, looks like a 9-gram servo there. Big rudder for a 9-gram servo. But my guess is we're not gonna be using that rudder much because I bet that plane is gonna wanna roll really bad when you use the rudder. Okay, pulling out some more pieces.
Ooh, that's a lot of pieces.
Yes, it is.
What is that?
Looks like a ramp or something. Labeled bags. It's a
Hey,
miracle.
Nice.
Couple shafts. And it looks like a brick wall. Not 100% sure yet on that.
Okay.
Horizontal stabilizer, as big as the wings on many of the planes we've done in the past. That's pretty sweet. In fact, if you guys ever crash this plane and destroy the front end of it, you need to take that and make that into a standalone plane. That would be a sweet looking plane, actually. Didn't we do a plane not too long ago? Some like cheapy like box plane, ready to fly. It was purple.
That looked like that? Oh, the pizza shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was way expensive though.
Yeah.
Okay, so reinforcements on the top here, well, the side, and really nice, oh, quick detach. Nice. Very good.
Tail light.
Tail light. Yep. Hopefully it's white. And it's just taped in so you can actually service it, which is really nice too. Then big plastic reinforcement where the tail is going to go in. So that is huge. Look guys, look how big it is.
Yeah.
Compared to the wing. Isn't that crazy? So lots of pieces. We knew this was a bit of an involved build, so not really surprised by that. We've got some drop tanks here.
Okay.
Looks like 2 large drop tanks, and they are magnetically attached. I do not know if they have a discharge on those drop tanks or if they are just magnetically attached.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, looks nice. Okay, so I'm gonna put those actually over here. If you guys see a helicopter in the background, just pay no attention to that.
Okay.
It's not part of this video at all. We haven't had a chance to fly it yet because the weather has been so terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. The fuse.
Cool.
Looks awesome. Really excited to see this one. And guys, I'm a sucker for the C-130. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I was a little bit bummed with the EC-135 because I wanted to do the C-130. That is absolutely gorgeous. Hey, look, I didn't have to cut this one.
Careful, because they're always
Camera crew,
slick.
would you pull that just that sleeve off of the end of my giant long cylinder? Okay, very nice. Absolutely gorgeous. There's even little windows, look. Windows.
Cool.
Window, window, window.
Yeah.
I love that I don't have to put decals.
Yeah.
They put a decal over that last window, and that's a legit window. And then that's nose gear, mains, and that opens and closes.
Cool.
Totally sweet. Landing gear doors and retracts. This is gonna be a sweet airplane. Oh wow, look. Even the front. That is so cool. And then there's something that goes over this. I think they gave us a protective nose cone.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna see how this goes. I gotta say, one of the biggest issues that people had with the EC-135 is that it didn't have retracts. Well, this one has retracts, and so we'll get to enjoy that. You guys have to bear with me drinking the coffee so I can keep my voice going. But we're gonna see how this thing goes together. I think the build is gonna be a little bit more involved than some, but it looks easier than the Spitfire by a long shot.
Yeah.
So I kind of had made up in my mind it was gonna be bad, but like by the time we get all these parts out, it kind of reminds me of that Extra. We laid out the parts, the thing was built in a few minutes. I mean, it felt like, for us, that's like 3 hours.
We have to do control horns and stuff, which takes time, but
we
don't have to do decals and all that stuff.
Okay, so we're gonna take a second, clean up, and come right back. All right, so we did not find a manual in the box, so we put it onto the TV. That was the whole purpose of the TV. So as you can see, we've got right there, we've got the manual pulled up on hobbyking.com. By the way, if you guys ever need support, click the link like you're gonna buy it, and then just scroll down, you'll see it. Pretty much all the vendors are that way.
Yeah.
All right, so in order to build this thing, you have to put the tail on with these 2 weird metal rods. So the metal rods, I thought they were like some sort of a counterweight, and they probably are acting as a counterweight as well. Okay, so they just slide into here like this. Okay. And that's gonna help bring some of the weight aft. And there's a big quick disconnect. And once you slide those in, then you have to put the tail section on. It's gonna snap in. And then I think if you look really close, that might be, I think that's a drawing of the antenna. No, it's just an upward arrow on the center. Because guys, there's this right here. This makes me nervous because I don't know exactly where to put all this, but it looks like antennas, windshield wipers.
Oh,
Yeah, they're really small.
yes they are.
And so one of these is, I'm not sure where they're gonna go. And then this thing,
You need another one?
I'm most concerned about these.
I know you were.
I don't know what they are, but I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I think it's a nose cone cover. Because it is just a foam nose, it'll help protect it. But we'll grab the tail and we can slide it into here. You see there's a screw hole here. We're gonna eventually have to use a screw to hold this in, okay? Should be a pretty simple build actually. But then the radio setup and all that's gonna take a little bit of effort. Okay, and then I'm just working it left and right a little bit until I get purchase. I do have purchase on that plug, I think. Yep. It's a little hard to get alignment. Okay, I gotta trade you spots, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna try to hold this like this and see if I can walk it in. It's just not wanting to go. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's keyed. It is the right direction. It did kind of resist going in there at first. Boy, oh boy. It's awkward when it just doesn't seem to have anywhere to go because there's only one way it can go. This is kind of a softer foam, so you don't want to get in there and damage it. But I just can't help but feel like I'm not going to get alignment. See if I can see it from here maybe. Nope, you just can't see. I'm getting it to go in. Once you're in, it just sort of blocks your view. So I don't have this attached so I can get my hand in a little bit deeper and I'm gonna hold the nose. That's scary.
That's scary.
That does not make me feel confident. It's definitely capable of sliding in. It's just this thing. I wonder if I need to loosen the screw and see if it'll let it walk up and down a little bit.
How much housing is there? Oh, it pretty much just goes straight in, doesn't it?
There's not much wiggle room.
No.
So I'm gonna grab a Phillips screwdriver. Or like a, oops, that's a flat. I'm gonna grab a 3mm Phillips screwdriver.
That has to go in that whole assembly.
I'm gonna back this off just a hair so that that thing can move up and down just a hair. Maybe a little bit more. Oops. See if that gets us in the hole. It's just, there's no way to put your hand in there at the same time. So I'm gonna do the second backup plan. Forceps time. Forceps, okay? That might give us a chance to lift up a little bit on the plug. Hun, would you be able to press that a little bit?
Yes.
Just a little. I just don't know what direction it needs to go to get lined up.
I'm not pressing very hard, but that still feels...
I just can't tell where I'm missing. Oh, it needs to go down. Okay, we'll go for a sec. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this out. Since we're struggling, I'm gonna take my rods out, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna lay the rods off to the side. I have to remember to put those back in, of course. But with those rods out, there is a second screw on there. I wonder if that'll... I'm gonna see if I can just try to get this aligned. Yep, see it went right in.
Yeah.
It went immediately in.
Okay.
So that means my misalignment woes have something to do with the way the rods are lined up. So I'm gonna tighten this back down. Now that we know it can go, I'm gonna slide them this way. We'll see if we get lucky. I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room, to be honest. But you see what I'm talking about? It went right in. I mean, it was like not even a question. Now it's fighting like crazy.
Maybe we need 4 hands.
I don't know. Oh, there it goes. I pressed down and it got the alignment.
Okay.
Then it's in. It's in good too. And I don't feel uncomfortable with it at all. Not now that it's in.
Right.
In fact, it's got enough pressure from the connector that I think we're gonna be golden. Okay, so once that's done, if you look at the screen again, it's showing scooching it in. And do they show any screws yet?
Not yet.
Sure doesn't look like it. I don't even see any difference there. There's my cursor.
Install.
Install the vertical stabilizer. Spigots into the corresponding slots. The heck is a spigot?
The thing on the side of your house that water comes out of?
I thought that was a silcock.
You just would rather it be that. Same thing.
No. A silcock is an antifreeze. And a spigot is the thing that's outside.
Well, apparently
Correct me if you're wrong.
Apparently it's also that.
Okay. So you want me to stick that into that other thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want me to plug this in?
Well, I probably would.
Okay. Good idea. All right. So we'll flip this thing over.
So that doesn't get attached until you put the tail on?
It just seems like there might be a room for error. That's all. Okay. So black is going up. Brown is going up. Stick the brown to the black. See?
Okay.
Verify that you've got room. Tuck it in nicely. Put the spigots into the holes, evidently. Yeah, that was pretty easy. That's a kind of an ugly gap, but that might be filled with some tape or something later. But even if it isn't, it fits pretty good. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip this over and hopefully it doesn't pop out. I don't think it will, but if you were in any doubt, you could probably rest that on the counter. You notice I'm not using a plane stand today because this is so big and it's got a flat surface on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna have to screw this together.
3mm by 25.
Really?
Well, that's what I can see at the very bottom of the screen.
I'm trying to scroll here, hon. Our high technology move today has proven to be a real pain in the neck.
Yep.
Okay, so you know why? Because it went to sleep.
Oh.
All right, so we have 3 by 25 and 3 by 20. Okay, so let's see if we can tell. Here's the bag. Here's the only bag of like actual hardware. Everything else is specific to the respective bags.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about? Okay. So that's pretty good. Plus whatever the,
You're just gonna save those for later.
I don't know. I don't know what they are.
No idea.
They just kind of unique looking. I'm not sure what they are. Okay, so let's lay these down and see if we can measure. They do give you this key set. So these are short. I don't think that's it. This is long, and then that one's slightly less long. So I'm gonna go with that's what we need.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
2mm drive guess?
Probably.
Wrong. See?
What are
Told
they?
you. 2.5. 2.5 millimeters of pure delight.
Hobby
So the longer one needs to go here. Okay, that fell through and fell out. Okay. That was an unexpected bad time to lose that. Do you guys see what just happened?
But where is it supposed to go?
Okay, so the 20mm
It's gonna keep
is gonna go
going.
here. And I'm gonna, yeah, that seems about right. It's going through. So what the heck am I gonna do to get that one back? Do I have to like energize this thing so I can pop the servo so I can get that out?
Where's the battery hatch?
On the wrong end of the plane.
Well,
Okay, so that's torqued down. I think what needs to happen is I'm gonna probably have to try to see if I can shake it.
shake it to where?
Oh, geez. I don't want to get it lost in there. But, okay. So where is the battery hatch? I think it's up here. We haven't got to that step yet. I don't even know how to take off the top. Where the heck do you open it? There's 4 screws on the bottom.
Has to be the winch. No, that's way too small of an opening.
That's really small, hun. Yeah. Like, where the heck do you open this thing? And I mean, you could tell there's a hole there, but it just fell right out. What the heck? How am I supposed to get that out now?
Okay,
Oh,
there's
geez.
4 screws on the bottom.
Do you suppose that thing comes off? There's no way you have to
There's
undo
no way.
screws. There's no way. That's got to be holding stuff together. That's got to be holding the halves together. So let's see if we can open this. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to still try carefully with a big 6mm flat bladed screwdriver. Sometimes you can overdrive them, sometimes you can't. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can force it open. Yeah, that worked okay. That servo is not that hard to overwhelm. Okay, now watch yourself. I'm gonna bounce this out. Ready? Oh, that looks sweet. You see the bottom?
Yeah.
Get out of there, you turd lover. Oh man, I'm so annoyed about that screw. Oh, you know where it's stuck?
Way up there.
To tape.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if I can even get it. Okay, so that's not gonna let me open that any further. Do you guys see it up there? Okay, I'm gonna have to do this blind. Well, you guys will be blind. I won't be. Oh yeah. I can reach it. Oh, son of a biscuit lover. It's also slipped forward. This is so ridiculous. It got stuck in some other bundle of wires. So I'm gonna do some searching and we'll come right back. Okay, so since we've already done the deed and ripped it open, we're gonna see if we can figure this out because guys, there's a wire that's in the way. That might have been why this fell off, okay? Show the people the wire.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
You see it?
Yep.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Am I over it?
No, back toward, you gotta go back towards you. No. Back towards the tail of the plane.
Okay, so that kind of sucked.
Now make sure you don't pinch the wire in the screw head.
What are you talking about? Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jeez, you weren't kidding, are you?
No.
Wow, and it's like doing that too.
Oh, is it?
It was. Good catch, hon.
That's what I'm here for.
I'll use it for different things, but it's okay. If I get something pinched, that's all you're good for now?
I said that's what I'm here for, not that's all I'm good for.
Well, that's one of the things.
There should maybe be a warning on that step that's like...
Well, I mean, they had a whole step that was just showing the part you just installed on like 3 steps ago.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, look what I'm doing here. See this right here? Look for smoothness. As you torque it down, it's gonna pull this past smooth. Don't overdo it, okay? Okay, I've got it really tight. I feel like it's pretty solid. Full disclosure, we moved the screws that were sitting on this counter right here.
Yes.
But you know what we didn't move?
What? The little piece that
Show the people what I did, okay? When I stuck my hand in here, this thing has a rubber O-ring or something on the top. And this came out, we'll just re-glue that, no big deal. But then this one lost the other O-ring as well. So I'm actually not super worried about, it's just that tape that holds that bundle of wires up there. It's probably where the thing is stuck, okay? It's just fuel tube, I think. But it just so happens that we're opening this in such a way that there is, you know, a plethora of places that might have bounced off to.
Right.
So it is possible that we'll have to find another sort of material to do that with. Full disclosure, it'd be easier to avoid that problem if you can, okay? That being said, we're gonna continue the build. In order to continue the build though, I do kind of need to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with this. Oh, look, now we've lost the other side. This one fell out now. Jeez. Which is fine, actually. I think I might take a second, see if we can find either another piece of fuel tube or some acceptable alternative. CA. One drip. Pull this thing up. Stick it back in the hole. Okay, so guys, just full disclosure. Camera crew is going to put one hand here and do our best to film still. Hold it. You got to actually hold it. You got to stop it from spinning.
Wait. Hold on.
Just hold it wherever.
Oh, I can't. My hand's too small.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay, got it.
CA doesn't wait.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's in. Okay, so all we're doing is we're putting that in and we're done with it. Okay? I will, you can let go. I will tell you this. That shouldn't have happened, but also that's kind of a weird step. So if you're watching this video and you learn something from it, be careful where you stick it
Yes.
So you don't break it off in the wrong hole.
They should have already known that from watching you do things.
From watching me do that stuff. Jeez. So yeah, it's I found the screw. It was stuck on the tape that runs down the length of this, but it's on. So
Okay.
that works. Super simple, smooth process here so far. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we are using the manual, which should make some of you very happy.
Yeah.
Install the supplied rudder control horn. I'm not doing any of that crap yet. Okay, so then you're supposed to put the wings on, but what? Okay, we'll put the wings on.
Well, if we didn't have to jump around in the manual, it'd be easier to go out of order like you would like to do.
Well, my concern is it might be a little easier to build the wings when they're not mounted to the plane.
Oh.
But, I mean, maybe it'll be easier to build it when it's braced on the plane. Okay, so as you can see, we get a little special connector for power, and then a special connector for all the signal. Nice.
Okay.
Very solid. Camera crew's gonna put one hand
Yep.
to just catch that weight. And then I'm actually just gonna pull this through in and out a couple of times to make sure we don't have any binding. Okay. Same thing here. I need you to resist a little bit. Okay. By the way, notice the wing joiners here. Or where they come together. Hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic, plastic. So all the places where you're gonna potentially grab. That's a nice looking plane
Cool.
right there.
Yeah, it is.
Sweet, it's already
pretty.
a piece.
Yeah.
It's already one piece, but it's just not secured together. So the next thing's probably gonna be putting screws in. Let's check. All right, so push both wings in up against the fuselage. Make sure the electrical connectors are, okay, so 3x10s, and it needs to be upside down.
Which I put them back in the bag so they wouldn't roll off the counter.
Okay.
Did you put your 2.5 millimeter drive away?
Yeah, I did. So I'm gonna dump these screws back out. There's only 4 of them. I cannot believe there's only 4 screws on this model, or 6 screws total so far.
Yeah.
It's like, it's already a plane.
That is, yeah, it is 6 screws.
That's crazy. This will be easier to do the screws before the props are installed, just so you know. Because once the prop is installed, you won't be able to lay it down flat like this.
True.
And then also the risk of, you know, if you have a prop start, okay? And you could get cut or whatever. This is gonna be awkward, because look. Okay, if you ever run into something like this, I'm gonna show you a trick. It doesn't always work. Step back, please. Grab the 2 millimeter. Take the 2 millimeter, break free on the 2.5. Take out the shaft, lay that down. You're gonna need it in a minute. Then you come back in here, get your alignment made, start your screw, because you can go straight up and down then. Once you get it started, move on to the next one. But you see the shaft would have to be way long to be able to reach down past. And yes, we do have some hardware that will get us past there, but they're just like all the way across the house. I'm not gonna go get it.
Well, I was looking at those, the Willow ones, but the 2.5 is longer. Because like these guys are pretty short, but the 2.5 is not probably any better.
Okay, so those are started.
Okay.
It's like I said, all I wanna do is start them so that I can get back to having a handle. If these were ball link or ball end, ooh, see what I did there? Press that in a little bit harder, but I'm moving that in the cell. I don't like that. You got to get it closed in there, or it's not gonna seat up. Okay, you guys see?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's very awkward. Can you pick a different angle there, hon? Because I'm trying not to block you, but there's only one way for me to hold this with my body right now, I feel like. Get in there. It's awkward because I'm just having to turn this real small shaft to get it started, but I think I do have it started because it's not backing out now. Where did the other screw go, hon?
It's right at the nose of the plane.
Yep,
Oh,
got it.
there.
Okay. So then this last screw, I need you to hold that and pull it towards you. Okay, good job. Keep doing it. Pull harder. There you go. Oh yeah, easy that time. Just let me get it since it's easy. You guys see what I was talking about? I had the camera crew, when we're done getting the screw in, you can see what she did. Okay. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this tool back together. Now, of course, if your tool doesn't come apart like that, you might have a little harder time with that. It's nothing a chop saw can't fix. Grinder. Now it's going just fine. Because as long as they're started, it's no big deal. Okay, so I got it torqued in there. We got 3 more to tighten down. Look at that. Look at that.
It's a little antenna. That's the door. Is that the... Found it.
That's pretty sweet, actually. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, let's do everything different on this plane. I gotta say, it's a pretty sweet looking plane. I'm excited to see it fly. We have noticed some innovative moves from Avios, and namely, I'm thinking about the EG. What am I trying to say? Not the EG.
The extra?
The extra NG.
Oh, the NG.
Yeah, the extra NG. Thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Still is, just not in my living room right now.
Oh, darn.
Okay, great. All right. So now we know how to get inside.
Maybe that little plastic thing will fall out when you pick it up.
That would be ironic. Not that I really care, because it's not going to really matter. All right, so this is how you take the side off. So you can show them in there, where everything's going to eventually go.
Okay.
Got a BEC here. Goes to something. Oh, that's going to go to the receiver. Look at that, they're all labeled.
That's a lot of...
Failure to do so may cause excessive battery drain and affect the flight performance or even loss of control in flight. What? Please read the instruction step for proper setup of C-130 flaps. Okay, that's always not very fun. There's a battery strap in there. Seems very strange. Guess we're gonna put this back in here.
Okay.
Now we will take you to fruition on this build, folks. So nothing new for Brian Phillips RST audience. If you guys are used to being part of this experience, we do this all the time. So we will struggle through the build all the way. All right, so if you look there, we should be able to scroll down a little bit if I can wake up the mouse or whatever's wrong with it. There it goes. Okay, so now they're talking about the props. It's worth checking at this point.
And ours are not factory fitted.
What are?
Our prop adapters. It says the prop adapters are factory fitted. Ours are not. They're
Yeah, they are. These are. These are prop adapters.
Oh, I thought they were meant. I thought they were talking about these things based on the picture.
Well, they're talking about this little takeoff apparatus. I'm assuming that it's probably a 1.5 millimeter.
Okay.
Let's check. They said it's worthwhile to check.
Well,
So we're going to do it.
all the things that are
1.5. Oh, geez. I just gave that like a quarter turn, folks.
It is worth checking.
It is worth checking.
Okay.
Yeah. Holy cow. Wow. Okay. By the way, earlier I said, good luck finding a replacement if this doesn't work. I might have spoke too soon because truth is you could take off that prop adapter and put your own props on. Although those props look sweet, so I don't know why you'd want to get anything different.
Yeah.
All right, so now my problem is, which one goes where?
I don't know. Probably have to like scroll down and.
It tells you. You just have to figure out which wing they're showing.
Well, Are we looking at the fuse over here?
Let's scroll down. I like your thinking. Okay, look, it shows there. Those ones are spinning toward the fuse at the top. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so let's show the people what we got here. We got 4 props. They're gonna spin toward the fuse when considered from the top of the blades. So like if we were looking at the plane, this would be the fuse, this would be the wing. These are spinning toward, so this would be what would be the right wing. So this is the ones that sit on top of the inboard portion of the counter right now.
Okay.
Of course, I've got as much crap as possible in the way between me and where I need to be working, which is my modus operandi.
Close.
What's it supposed to be?
Modus operandi.
There you go, that thing.
It's not an Ariana Grande. It's a wrong ending sound.
What? Okay, so that thing's gonna go there. Now, I don't know if that's right, but it sure looks like it could maybe be.
Okay.
And it's just such a weird assembly because it goes together in 2 pieces, but I don't really understand why, because there's only one screw.
piece.
So like, why did they not just make 1 piece? I suppose then you could have a different spinner design. I don't know. It doesn't make sense at all to me. Okay, so yeah, because you set this thing on there and it's got a flat milled in it.
Okay.
Maybe it's easier to line this up. I'm not really seeing that being any easier. I suppose technically, like, why don't they just make that one thing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really understand that. That's all right. As with other things in life, I don't have to understand. Would you grab the tools, please, and drag them over? That's good enough. 2 or 2.5?
I don't know.
I'm asking you to guess.
Oh, 2.5.
Wrong. See?
Jeez.
That's quite the long and pointy spinner.
It is.
It looks really good. I love the fat blades. Okay, so torquing it down, torquing it down, torquing it down. You can see it closing that angle. If you would stay where you were, you moved like immediately when the thing happened.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so that's torqued down. And it's, frankly, I still really don't understand why these are 2 pieces. Because
It's not like you're gonna get a different front
spinner
part.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all.
I don't either.
Well, that's fine. It worked. So that's all that matters.
Nobody asked us.
They probably should have.
Could have.
We would have given them good advice.
Yeah.
We'd have been like, hey, don't do that thing. It's dumb. Hey, hold on. Can we talk about where the screw's going to fall? Yeah, put a long piece of tape in there so that it gets stuck. So you have to reach in and you break your door open before you even fly it.
Let's put the battery hatch. That's not seated all the way back, is it? Are you on the flat spot though?
No, it's not seated all the way back.
Okay.
I appreciate you pointing that out. Thanks.
Just trying to help.
No, I appreciate that you were trying to help. It's just that there was nothing really helpful to me about it.
Okay.
It was just mostly like, just reminding me that I failed miserably.
That's what I was trying to do.
It's not seated. It's not even close. What the heck did I do wrong?
But it pushed it back when you were tightening it on the other one. I just want to
Yeah,
make sure you
but
were
I got to make sure I get on the right
flat.
On the right flat.
Yeah.
But it's, it's easier said than done. Maybe that's why they're 2 pieces. I don't think that's what it is, by the way.
I don't think so either.
All right, I'm gonna pull this screw out just to be on the safe side because I am getting a little nervous that I'm gonna end up having a problem because of it. How did that thing, what the heck happened to it? It must have popped off and like stuck to the tape. Okay, so there's a flat here and a flat there. So I'm gonna put the flat this way and just kind of guide it on. That's all the more it went, hon. That doesn't seem right.
It did suck it on more.
What's this about sucking?
More. It'll pull it back a little bit as long as long as it's lined up in the right spot. It should.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Just going all the way in.
Well.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
assume so.
all the way in, spinning toward the fuse. That looks sweet. Look at that, look at that. Opeller?
Never got the PR.
Opeller? What the heck happened? Did the propeller hit it?
Maybe knocked the P and the R off of the sticker.
Well, it says propeller down below it.
Maybe it's only a...
Is that like a different language?
I don't know, we're in field double
Whoever
for this.
speaks that language.
It's the same
leave
on
it in
this
the
side
comments
too.
below about how ignorant we are in America.
We know you will anyway.
Because I don't know what an opeller is. It's probably like a really popular thing on the internet these days. All the kids are
Well,
doing
okay,
it.
then there's a reason we don't know.
Yeah, because we aren't internet
cool.
celebrities.
We're class Z celebrities.
Yes. You don't get any smaller than our celebrity status.
No.
It's like, they're like, quick, get me the smallest celebrity in the world. Well, there's this guy. He makes short videos. All right, so here it is. So let's see if that, it does kind of drop down in there. Oh yeah, when it drops down in there. But you see, that's the flat right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that says plus. Well, okay. Like that's where you hook up the positive lead, or I'm not really sure what the heck that's supposed to mean. Well, I can definitely say this build has gone way easier than I thought it was. All we did was drop one screw and cause a massive catastrophic disaster.
And you can do that on any plane.
I could do that on virtually any plane, you're right. It could be a 400mm warbird. It's like, sorry kids, we ran into the garage door at full speed. Evidently that will break them. And by the way, if you're a kid and you're asking your parents like, hey, can I get that for my first plane ever? And if your parents are the type that are like, yeah, sure, whatever you want, little child, just don't annoy me. I would not recommend this particular plane for your first plane. I'm sure it's probably a lot harder to fly than you might realize. We will try to help make it easy as possible by giving you guys a radio setup to follow along. But I can just tell you right now, it's gonna be a cool plane. I am super excited to see it fly. I am not sure if it's gonna be easy to fly. I don't know that yet. I have a sneaky suspicion it'll be a lot harder to fly than the EC one. EC 1500, which is a relatively easy flying plane, but you can, you know, if you come in really close to the ground and do stupid things, and you know, it's possible you can stall and blow it up in a million pieces.
Okay, you just said EC 1500, which was right. We totally said EC 135 earlier.
Why did I say
which is
that?
a helicopter. Which I had in my head because we
I'm
saw an
sorry.
EC 145 today.
What the heck am I thinking?
I don't know.
By the way, this is 1600 millimeters. It's huge. Look at the wingspan.
I know. Don't worry, all the people in the comments have already corrected you 14,000 times for the mistake that we just got.
Yeah, okay, so guys, you might be wondering why I'm drinking so much today. It's because I'm sick, if you haven't noticed. So these spin in and in is the way we're gonna configure them. So what's next? What's next, says Google. Google, what's next? Come on, Google. Give it to me. I gotta find reception. Uh-oh, whoa, there was something that happened there. Uh-oh.
Oh, thread locker.
Where?
Once again, apply some thread locker to the screw threads for security, period, period.
Okay, I'm gonna just keep scrolling.
Okay.
I don't know what that's supposed to be saying, but I'm just gonna go with it's probably not meant to be on the screen.
No, it's just from the PDF thing.
Okay.
So the outboard flat push rods.
It says the outermost hole.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks pretty straightforward. Outermost hole.
Yeah, it looks, yes. We're not ready for that yet though. Okay.
All right.
Connect the U-back cables to the power cables in the fuselage as shown in figure 1 and 2 above. Please pay careful attention to the polarity and also ensure that all the pins are fully seated into the socket.
All right, so they're talking about doing all those steps, which we haven't done yet.
Okay.
So let's talk about this for a minute. What are these things?
I don't know.
They look like wingtip things. Because, I mean, seriously, like, what else would they be? What else would they be?
They...
No, way too small. I don't know.
What is this thing? Okay, would there be like weather radar?
Oh, maybe it's
stuff.
Yeah, because this looks like it would go on the side. So I wonder if it's, oh, it's a gun mount. I bet it goes along the side somewhere. It's like it's optional. Okay, they'll eventually mention it right after we forget it exists.
Yes, or put
This
it
is a
somewhere wrong.
ramp. That's for a decorative display ramp.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll just leave that separate. Okay. This thing is clearly going to be a nose cone of sorts. Okay.
Is it? Yes.
It is absolutely.
Okay.
But the only catch is, like, do we even put it on? I mean, I'm assuming we should.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can't tell it's there.
But it'll help protect the nose.
Yeah, the nose.
Planes on their nose sometimes.
Are you saying that I crash planes?
No, we store them sitting up on their nose.
Oh, you said
like
we
on their
store
nose,
them.
on their nose, on their
I
nose.
thought you meant like we landed them on their nose sometimes, because we.
Well, I mean,
we
you do that
sometimes. All right, so we need some China glue for that, evidently.
Okay.
If you guys don't know what China glue is, it's glue that's made in China.
That's like all glue.
China glue from Competitive Offering. This stuff is really good, actually. I like it. You can also use foam to foam. There's a bunch of other brands and stuff and whatever. Whatever meets your fancy, folks. But we do like this. It's nice and clear. It works really nice because it's not going to make a giant mess of your life unless you breathe it too much.
Or you use way too much of it.
You guys see? It's kind of hard to see, actually.
That's a lot of glue.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of a big thing. So this is upside down. This is rightish side up. And I'm just working it around like this until such a time is, okay. Just gonna get those drips, and I'm just gonna spread this with my finger, which is, typically I wouldn't recommend using your fingers to spread this, but I'm just trying my best not to get it on the outside. And then this can actually just cook off for a moment. And so I'm just gonna kind of slather it around the tip. Okay. Once you slather it on the tip, you're pretty much committed to it. But that thing is gonna stick really, really, yeah, please do. Carefully pull it away. Now guys, see I got it on my fingers? Watch this. Got some pen on there from earlier today. I'm gonna take the pen off.
Like a 7th grade girl.
What are you talking about?
Pen on your hand.
I'm not in 7th grade. It didn't take the pen off either. Dang it. But it just wipes off. That's why I like China glue so much, because it is really easy to clean up. And if you get a lot on there and you can't get it off, you can still use acetone. Okay? I am going to stick this on here.
Okay.
So this seems to be the lateral axis. I'm just not going to get a second chance to get this straight. Oh, that's pretty good. I was lucky. Okay. That little bit that's on there that I screwed up and got on the outside, I'm going to work it forward. And it should come right off. Okay, so we're good. Now there's also some antennas on here, but I am not doing any antenna work on this at all until we're totally done with all the surfaces.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've been burned a few times on antennas, and those are dinky. Also, there's some Velcro.
Okay.
I still think this is probably going to be for the controls. So we'll probably have to come back to that. Now, I'm a little bit torn on how we're going to do all this, because the radio setup on a plane like this, it needs to be set up for, let's talk about the surfaces for a minute. They have some information in here about the flaps. We're gonna use the NX8 Plus, and we're gonna use an AR something or another. It's gonna be either an 8360T, or it's gonna be a, well, it might be a
A 10.
Yeah, 10 376 4 fivers. I don't even know what it is. We'll put a link
I
in the
almost
video.
said it until you said it wrong, and now I don't know what it is.
Well, we need an elevator. We need a rudder. We may or may not need differential thrust, but for now we're going to need at least throttle. Then we're going to need ailerons. Then we're going to need at least one flap. It sounds like they might want us to use two. So let's just say that we need two.
Okay.
We need 3 tracks.
The drop door, there's 8 plugs in there.
That'd be the drop door. Yeah, but if we're going to try to do differential thrust, which, to be honest with you, you don't need differential thrust in an application like this. We might just want it because it's awesome. And if you want to do differential thrust, you can probably do it. Now, the other thing too is, I don't want full-length flaps. I don't care. I'm never going to use full-length flaps. I want the ailerons to be ailerons. I want the gigantic inboard flap to be a gigantic inboard flap. Because I love flaps, and I want this to fly like a real one, okay?
Okay.
So I think what we're going to do is we will go ahead and probably have to start setting these up, but I'm just torn. Do we go ahead and get the receiver and just plug it in?
Well, maybe we need to just take a second and read.
Let's read. We'll come right back. All right, so we're probably going to do the AR 8360T versus the AR 637T. The reason we're going with the 8360T is because I want 8 pluggable channels. Now, technically, there's port mapping, so we could squeeze an extra channel out of a 6 channel if we really wanted to go through the trouble. But that only really works if you're using an Avian ESC. And we're obviously not using an Avian ESC. So we're gonna go with the 8360T. Let's talk about the channels. In no particular order: elevator, rudder, aileron. We're gonna see if we can use one. If we need to use 2, which will be annoying, we can technically use 2, okay? Flap. Again, not sure if we're gonna need 2, but we might need a second one. Throttle, like I said, in no particular order. Just one throttle. You're probably thinking retracts, okay? What else do we need? Possibly, oh, we need the door. The drop door on the back. So that's 5, 6, 7 channels already. We might need a second motor if we're going to try differential thrust. I don't even know if we're going to try. We might need that for the ailerons, or we might need that for the second flap. That's assuming that this slide out flap is not going to work at the same rate as the inboard standard flaps, or in this case, the midboard flap. We don't know yet. We read through the instructions. The gear door sequencer should be automatic, so we don't need to waste a channel on that, which is good. But that still keeps us at 8 channels, okay? This also gives us telemetry if we want it, okay? Which we will more than likely use, even though there's an XT60 involved. Which, this is crazy too. This plane flies on 2200 4S. And the closest analog we have for it is this high discharge pack. And you couldn't tell what C this was.
30C. It's right under the 2500.
So this is not a Turnigy heavy duty, because that would give us a 60C rating. This requires a 60C rating. And so unless we just haven't found one yet, our standard 2200 4Ss that are smart packs are also 50C. We have some that are higher C ratings, but even the China Hobby lines that we have are 30Cs. So it's really kind of an unusual size, for us at least, to have to deliver a 100C pack in a 2200 4S. 2200 4S is not usually gonna call out a 100C.
Is it 100 or 60?
60.
Oh, okay.
But to go from 50 to 100 in Spectrum world
gotcha.
would get us where we wanna be. So I don't know exactly how critical that is. I am relatively confident that a 50C pack would do it if you have a quality 50C pack. But I just want you guys to know that I am a little bit nervous about using a 30C pack in a 60C call out with 4 engines on a plane this big. $2,200 is a dinky pack.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So now, could you do this with a 6-channel transmitter or receiver setup? The answer is probably. But I don't know for sure that the ailerons are going to work opposite. They might be wired so that they go the same direction. I don't want to use the servo signal reverser, but you could use a Y cable and you could reverse one of them. By the time you go through that trouble, the difference between this and this is like 15 bucks. I think the servo signal reversers usually go for about like 5 to 10 bucks, but you can get them in packs for a little cheaper. My suggestion is get the extra features, go for the 8-channel. It's gonna be one of those times where it just kind of makes sense to do that, okay? So we're gonna definitely go with the 8-channel receiver in this, and it should be a relatively easy setup once we get things going, but just keep in mind, you have to be careful how you do it, because you don't want to overdrive servos that are on these sliders, okay? And I think that's largely why they want you to separate your flap channels. So if you set your flaps to be retracted or extended, you may overdrive them. So put them in the center, AKA 0 in spectrum world. For pulse width modulation, it'd be like the center of the range, okay? We're probably gonna end up gluing it in there like we always do with China glue. And that should be a relatively straightforward process. But because we have 4 motors, we also need to go through the process of calibrating the motors, which we will do. Here's the basic process. Throttle all the way up. You notice we have our props on, so you want to be super careful to have a helper if you've got your props installed. Secure the plane. Okay? Have this thing out of the way so it doesn't get sucked in. Make sure there's nobody around. Make sure you stay free of the props, just in case something goes wrong, okay? Look where you're gonna be working.
Yeah.
We still have to hook up those things that they told us to hook up, but like, I don't even know what they're talking about. They told us to hook up all those leads. There ain't no leads to hook up. That's what I don't understand. Right?
Maybe they do them for us now. Well, where does that go?
That goes to the receiver for the power. That goes to the power. That powers the receiver. This is a BEC, a battery eliminator circuit. Okay? Right? Yeah. I think so. Yeah. That goes to the receiver.
Okay.
Okay, so if you guys don't know how this works, a battery eliminator circuit is usually built into the ESC. Because there's 4 ESCs, we want to keep the ranges of voltage referenced to 0. Okay? I don't understand why it's so hard to just reference them all to the same ground, because then you would have a 0 reference. And then you don't have to worry about having a floating ground where you're like 15 volts of differential, and then you blow out components like these small little surface mount chips and stuff. So they have this because we don't want to depend on the BEC in the ESCs. The electronic speed controllers for each of the motors are going to just basically not be using the BEC. So this can be run literally on a Y cable to any of the ports into your receiver, okay? Or, like if you have a bind plug, most of the time those are all in parallel, unless you're using a weird receiver, okay? So like on ours, just pop this open. We were talking about calibrating. I will not forget to finish talking about calibration. But I want to make sure you guys know how to plug this stuff in too, okay? By the way, active end, 28 millimeters. Active end, 28 millimeters. At the end of the day, we want these to be at 90 degrees of each other no matter what direction they're in. It doesn't really matter as long as they're 90 degrees. Not parallel, okay? 90 degrees. Not parallel, not in series. You want them like this. You want them at 90 degrees of each other. Okay. Right there you see it says minus plus S. So negative is ground, positive is power. This is a bind plug. You could plug that thing into the bind plug if you're not using the bind plug. And we're not gonna be using it. So that's where we can terminate and provide power for this entire bank or bus of plugs, okay? So keep in mind, now let's just plug this in because it's gonna get plugged in at some point anyway. So negative goes down, that's power. Now this thing's powered. Obviously this is a dangerous spot, okay? So how are you gonna calibrate your ESCs? Because look how you calibrate your ESCs. Transmitter on, profile all set up, everything bound. Plug it in while all the way up on power. Now, ordinarily that'd be no problem and throttle cut off. So it's like the most dangerous condition you can have. It's not gonna arm, it's gonna instead go into the setup. Once you're in setup and you listen to the WV, whatever that means, it says in the manual, then you're gonna drop this down and they will all recognize the top and bottom of the range. Immediately go to throttle cut, immediately lay this down, immediately secure things, okay? If you do it wrong, this is the place where you can get cut. This is where I've been cut one time, only one time. And fortunately for me, it was a small plane with much smaller props, okay? So just looking at the way this is gonna get plugged in, this will eventually then, see, we're limited on length and stuff too.
Right.
This will eventually need to go up and mount like on the side or wherever it goes. Probably here, okay? It might be better to go up on the ceiling. Yeah, the ceiling would probably be better because then it's out of the way of the battery.
Okay.
And there's a rib right here. Oh, and one other thing we found was where these things go, which are weird. These are gun mounts. It's like, this thing goes here if you're gonna use it, okay? Which I don't know that we are, or wait, did it go there? Oh, look, it's on the screen.
Yes, it is.
It goes about there if you're gonna use it, and that's fine. And then these, they go back here, or nope, I got the right side. I was hoping to get the one for your side. They go, oh dang it, I didn't get the right side, did I? I got my side. They go back, you know, maybe I did have the right side.
That's kind of awkward.
It is awkward.
In lots of ways.
I think it goes here.
I think they went that way, like the short part.
So that's a gun pod. So they would have the massive gun that sticks outside. And then there's one other thing here, and I don't know where they go yet. We haven't found them.
Nope.
And it's possible we won't, okay? So I don't necessarily have a problem with that being there.
I like that one. We don't have to put it on now yet, though.
I just don't want to put it on now because it's going to make it hard to continue working.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll lay this over here. Just keep in mind, when you test the throttle, you're going to eventually run the throttle too. Okay? Now also, when you tap power, with this Micro 1S, Micro PH 1S connector. Gosh, sorry guys. This Micro 1S PH connector, right here, is gonna go back into the receiver, the 8360T, okay? So then this lead is gonna go back, all the way back to here, okay? So this has to tap power and then carry back through all that crap to get out of the way and then come back up. Don't tap this power because then you're only gonna get your BEC power for your telemetry and that's unacceptable.
Okay.
Are you watching what I'm doing?
Well, I was showing them what you were talking about
I'm
there.
stretching this out, okay? Why? So that I can twist this, because this has to be done at some point, okay? So if you guys have never watched a Brian Phillips RC video, you'll notice that there is a certain period of time where we sometimes waffle. That's because sometimes you have to think through the different possible setups on a particular aircraft. Now, for us, in this particular plane, it just happens to be that there's some intricacies that are a little bit unique to this model, like that. The other thing too is, because all the wires go up there to that massive cluster, you know what, right up there, I am not even, there's a breakout board of sorts up there, and I do not want to even mess with it. And there's some mechanical stuff going on with the landing gear, and I don't want to mess with that, and I just don't want to cause problems, okay? So, by the way, this is the dew point sensor here.
Yep.
And then the pitot tubes are right here. There's a relief here and a relief here on both sides. So we will be putting those on. They're just going to go on at the end. And that was one thing that we just stumbled into as we were going through the manual, okay? So you see how I do this? I just twist it and we just walk back. And you're thinking, you know, this is kind of like radio setup stuff. Why are you doing this right now, Brian? You haven't even put control arms on. That's because we can't really put control arms yet because we need to see how they work together. It's not just testing a servo, we're testing a set of servos. So yeah, you could Y cable them, but I don't want to Y cable them. If I'm going to go through the trouble of Y cabling 4 servos, first of all, you might overdrive it, which we've done before. Doesn't hurt it, it just dies, like the XBC battery checker. Or you just hook it up to your receiver. We're gonna have to hook it up to the receiver eventually, so we might as well do it. Okay, so this has to go back somehow between this port here, it says volt, okay? This plugs in there, and if you get it wrong, it won't go. So that's in, okay? And then that can just chase back, and it can follow along here. It doesn't actually hurt anything to be tied around this physically, because that for sure has to go back to this lead. So actually that might work out pretty good. We may actually have extra cable for once. But you guys kind of see what I'm talking about. Now, cable management 101. If you've got extra cable and you don't want to give it up until you know for sure you don't need it, you can leave a bundle somewhere along the chase like this, okay? And you can see I've got about the right amount left now, okay? So then up here, I could either solder or tap this. Actually, it'd be pretty sweet if I could just chase through and do it.
Yeah, it would.
That'd be really clean. Now, I'm not gonna solder these because I'm too lazy. But you guys might want to. That's totally fine. I'm not gonna make fun of anybody who solders this. It's actually the superior method. I just don't care enough. Ooh, that's heat shrink. It's pretty tight. See, I'm having trouble feeding it through.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I could get lucky because then I was just gonna go in and just slide it into that silicone. You know what? I think we can still probably get away with it, so we're gonna do that. Now keep in mind, guys, at the end of the day, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And in this particular circumstance, there's like 40 of them. But we wanna give you at least a baseline on how you can get the thing running, okay? You don't have to do it my way, but I will suggest something. If you need help and you're not getting help, but you are getting help from us, do it my way. Why? Because then you can ask questions. Okay, so we'll just strip this back. A little bit more exposed. Strip this back, a little bit more exposed, okay? Lay the strippers out of the way. Now, you could also just slide these in here, or you could even heat this connector, slide that back and solder them on there. That's fine too. It doesn't really matter because you could shorten these cables too and it'd be totally acceptable. But all I'm trying to do is reuse resources that are already available to me. Did I drop that thing? No, it's right here. So remember, this heat shrink is gonna stretch out. Then once it stretches out, I hope I don't like break it.
That's really tight.
It is. Good Lord. See, all I'm doing is just making a channel. Okay. And so once we're through, you see what I'm doing there, guys? You can basically get it to slide right into that sleeved silicone wrapped lead. And if you're careful the way you do it, then you get this nice clean tap point and there'll be no issues whatsoever. Boy, that heat shrink is just in there. Okay. So now I can do the same thing, except I'm going to come from the other side. See the heat shrink? See, it's opened up now. So now, of course, I got all this crap wrapped down here, but it's okay. Oh man, that's pretty hard to feed. I may have to go back through with the other side opened. There it goes. Okay, see how now it's free? Okay, so let's just pull it through. Let's just pull it through. I don't think I'm gonna get as lucky as I was hoping.
Okay.
Yeah, dang it. That would have been really nice if I could do that. I was just thinking I could stick it in there. I'm not gonna get that lucky, am I?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think I kind of used up all my luck with you. Just remember that later.
Okay.
Okay, so once I get these both through, see how it's running into the silicone on the side of that black lead?
Yep.
You know, the funny thing is, it might actually hold it in position good enough, but you don't want to short circuit the thing either, you know? Yeah, we'll just pull them through. Okay, well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. My plan did not work the way I had hoped, but I'll show you, we'll still prosper here, okay? All right, so we'll pull that through so that it's to where we like it, okay? And then you don't got to worry about that coming undone now. So you remember the excess for cable management purposes. You're going to have just a little bit here that's sort of wasted. And you could pull the excess through and clip it. Or you could just bundle it up nicely. And since there's nothing else hooked up, you can actually just wrap this around and make a nice little containment out of it. You could also do a zip tie, or you could use some electrical tape, or you could use a piece of clear tape, or whatever meets your fancy. But check this out. You see how nice that is? It just keeps it all tidy, and you're probably thinking to yourself, but Brian, that looks like crap. You know, first of all, it doesn't really look that bad. And second of all, if you're real careful the way you do this, watch this. You can actually take and trap this either among itself like this, and plug this back in. See, the negative is down. Or you can also unplug this actual sensor wire, and you can feed it through itself, and that'll keep everything latched down. Okay? The idea is you're not introducing a bunch of extra wire ties and tape and junk if you do it right. I just didn't do a very good job of it. I gotta get the slack out of it. Dang it. Sorry, guys. And I would say at this point, you know, you get the idea, except you probably don't get the idea. So I'm gonna have to execute this properly first, and then you'll get the idea. I was going one method, now I'm gonna do a second method. So you see it's still got the twist, but some of the twist came out of it because it's all that dinking around. Okay. So then the other train of thought is you just clip it short. Well, you know, guys, I'm always thinking about like, well, what if I take this out and put it in a different plane? Well, then I shorten it and I've limited my options. Okay, so I don't want that. So let's do it this way. That gets us really close to where we want, but maybe not quite there. So I'm gonna go 2 fingers, pull that through somewhat tight. And now I've got enough to where I can go around a couple of times and tie it, okay? A couple of times. Remember, you're only giving up a tiny little bit of length now. Just a tiny bit too much, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need a little more length.
It never works when you're on camera. Okay, so then you get your last loop back and feed it through. Don't pull on the connector itself, pull on the cable, okay? See, I'm pulling on the cable, not the connector, the cable. All right, so now it's pulled. So now I can take that nice little loop and I can come back up here and plug it in. Okay, then I can lay this very carefully, relieve the pressure, and then press it flat. You see how I've got a nice relief on the pressure there. And then I can take and slide this to and fro exactly where I need it to be, okay? Nice, and I don't have to worry about that thing being a big pain in the neck, except for the pain in the neck it was to do those steps, okay? All right, so now I gotta tap this power. There's 14 different ways to skin this cat. I think the easiest way is to just quite literally stick it up the heat shrink. See that little depression there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's gonna get in there and it's gonna be golden. But you see we've got excess, okay? So what does that mean? That means I can do the same thing I just did on the other side, except I can do it over here now. And that is gonna get us so we don't have to worry about any strain relief like tape, okay? So pull that excess through. Look how beautiful that is. Look at how beautiful that is, folks. Slide that up. You can even use the tool to slide it in if I wanted to. See? Now there's another trick you can do, and this works really nice. Since we know we're going up into that little nest of wires, look how I folded it over. Watch this. When I feed this through, it's going to force it to stay once I get up there. Okay, we just got to get it to go. So we'll relieve the pressure on the heat shrink by opening it up a little bit. You just got to catch the wire and push it through. See the tip of the, see the tip? I made a little pocket up there. So that'll stretch it out just a hair. And then once you stretch it out a hair, you can just slide that back up in there. Remember, this is just telemetry. We're not running any equipment off of it. I'm going to break this tip off so I've got a flat surface, okay? And I'm going to use the bottom of my island to make it flat now so it's not pointed. And then I can go up inside of here, press that in. And then use the other tip to press it in a little bit deeper. There it goes. I could see it that time. Sweet. So now, if I had a lighter on me, then I could use a lighter to re-shrink that if I wanted. But I don't even have to worry about that coming undone because there's just like no way that's going to come out without undoing like 14 different things. Okay? See all the twists and ties and stuff? So now I got to do the same exact thing on this black line. So I'm going to go around, around, and then back. Now, if you know how to solder and you just slide that back down, you can just put a drip of solder or just heat up the solder that's already there and puddle right into it and you'll be golden. Okay? I'm going to try doing this the easy way this time. Maybe I'll get lucky. Oh yeah, do you see where it went? See it? Look, see the protrusion in the heat shrink? That's what I was trying to do the first time and I did not get lucky and we're done with that one, okay? So now we have tapped it and you're probably thinking to yourself, but Brian, all you did is just slide them in there. You didn't even solder them. That's exactly right. Because you don't have to solder them, okay? That is an optional thing. All you have to do, it's like if you take your multimeter out, you don't solder your multimeter to your work. You just touch the work. Okay? All you have to do is you're just picking up a test point. Okay? All right, so now the next thing we have to wire up all the different ports before we can actually get to the next step, which is going to be to get all the mechanical mechanisms hooked up. We can't hook up the mechanisms until we have the receiver installed. Well, you can't have the receiver installed till you know where to land the cables. So what's our next move? We got to build a profile in the radio system, okay? And the radio system is all set up on this thing, okay? And then that's gonna tell us where to plug things in, okay? Once we know where to plug things in, then we go ahead and do it. So the next move is to build a profile for this plane on the NX8 Plus, okay? So we can power this on, cancel them back, add new model. Okay, so we're gonna create an acro. Model type, it's an acro, we already did that. Model name, this is where we scroll it in. This is the C-130, so we'll type that and come right back. All right, so we get the Avios C-130 1.6 meter aircraft type. This is where we're gonna set it up as a single aileron and a single flap. And you're probably thinking to yourself, but they said use dual flap and use dual ailerons. Well, that's because we're not setting up the way they said, okay? What does that mean for us? That means that we may need to adjust the way things work because I don't know if they split them out. See, it says flap 2, failure to do so, blah, 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 whatever. We'll figure it out. Here's aileron. Is there another aileron? There's 3, throttle, warning, please set the ESC route again before taking off. What? Please set the ESC route again before taking off. I don't understand that crap. Gear, cargo door, flap, elevator, aileron. Okay, whatever. So, like I said, we're going to do it our way, and then we'll have to change things after a bit. Okay, maybe. So there we go. So 1 flap. If the flaps don't work right, then we'll have to switch it to 2 flaps, meaning there's 2 systems that will get called out. I'm not sure how that works on this system. Okay, next. What are we gonna put on here?
I don't know.
Thought we had like we do have that twin engine one. Let's do the twin engine one.
Okay.
Okay. And then flight mode setup. I am going to set up a flight mode on switch D. In this case, I'm going to set up audio events. What are the audio events going to be? They're going to be represented by this word here, which is going to be cancel clears it. So we're going to do AS3X up at the top. This is AS3X plus, but I'm not separating out my nose gear unless we find out it works like crap, and then we will. AS3X. So we'll scroll way down to the bottom and find the verbal cue for AS3X. All right, there's AS3X. So that'll be displayed on screen. That'll be called out verbally. Then on this one, I'm going to have an off setting. So this will be highlight, cancel, clears it. So we'll type in the word OFF. All right, then we're going to make it say off, which is kind of up at the top, so it should be a little quicker. Or is it?
No, it's close to the middle.
Now remember, this is just a label. It doesn't actually mean the setting has changed. This is going to be safe, sensor assisted flight envelope, which is auto leveling. So if you're brand new to flying, this would be a great tool for you to use to get started. But again, this is not really a beginner plane. There's going to be a lot easier to fly planes out there. All right, so safe mode, off, and AS3X. Okay, so now we'll walk out, channel assign. Let's see what we got here. I do want gear on A because this has got retract, so that's fine. Flaps are already blacked out. We don't have to worry about thrust reverse at all on this plane because there just really isn't going to be thrust reverse. I don't think there's thrust reverse, and if there were, I don't know how to tap into it, so I'm just going to assume that it's not available. Switch B is going to be for flaps, so I want to change this to something else. Why don't we, where do we want to do our drop?
Probably C is where you normally do
For
stuff.
a weird function?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this will be attached to channel 8, but we need the pluggables. So, yeah, we don't know exactly what channel 8 is going to be, and I know it's not going to be rotary knob, okay, because that's going to be like our master gain. So I'm going to clear that. Then we can attach that to one of the non-pluggables. Mm-hmm. So we'll go ahead and set it to this, channel 9. Oh, highlight it. Why is it not going? Rotary knob. And then I'm going to go ahead and just set this right now so that we can do it for AS3X later. So I'll set that to switch D, or I'll go to flight mode. Okay, so channel 10 is aux 10. Okay, it's actually not aux 10. This is like the new way they talk about stuff. It's actually aux 1, aux 2, aux 3, aux 4. Remember, we don't need a pluggable channel for flight mode to operate and command and control AS3X and safe. But then we have all these channels too that we can use. We just aren't using them because they're not needed, okay? So right now, channel 8's not actually doing anything yet.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set up throttle cut. Switch H. We're gonna look here at throttle. It's not working, that's good. When throttle cut's off, it is moving. That's good. We're gonna have to program all these here in a minute. Rates and expo. We're gonna set all of them to switch F. This is our standard setup. It's always the same to start with, unless it's some weird 3D or profile plane or something like that. And then we drop the rate down, okay? So that's the neutral starting point with 10% expo. That's more touchy with 5%. That's 10% to start from the neutral, so that gets it more touchy. And that gets it less touchy. So it drops the rates to 90, and it also increases the expo by a factor of 2, okay? So it gives us a starting point, and it gives us a place to go to if we need to get the plane to the ground. And to be frank, I hardly ever switch from the middle setting, like almost never. Every once in a blue moon, I'll catch myself having forgot to set this up. And it's like hard to even tell, okay? So before you ask the question, if you're using this plane as a beginner, you don't know what you're doing, just copy and it will serve you well. It's not hard to set up. And by the way, a lot of these things that we do on these videos, you could set up as a template and copy and paste. Okay? We just don't do that because people are watching this to learn how to do stuff. Flap system, set to switch B, okay? The only thing I know for sure is I want it to be slow. I don't know how slow. I'm probably gonna set it to 3 seconds, a little bit more than normal. I would normally do 2, I'm gonna do 3 on this. I do know I want one of them to be negative something and I want one of them to be negative or positive something. I do not know how far that something is, but I do know I want to start in the middle. These are inboard flaps, so I can assume we want a positive call out for flap correction, flap to elevator correction at a rate of about 60% and 100%, okay? We'll find out. Then I want to set it to the middle. That's going to put everything neutral in the center, which means they're going to be halfway deployed if we have a center mounting option, okay? We don't know that yet though. So we are going to be for sure coming in here playing with this. We don't know what direction it's going to go and we don't know the amplitude by which we want it to change. So that means we're in the center. Not the back or the front, okay? We're not doing any mixing for rudder. And we do have, just so you know, those are flaps. There's a fast acting 3-position switch for the door. I want that to be in the middle too. Until we know where the home position is going to be, that's where it's going to live, okay? So now we know where we're landing stuff. Throttle cuts on. Let's start doing it, okay? We don't have to worry about this turning on because I'm not going to actually get plugged in yet. So I'm going to just slide this over just a hair. Try not to knock over my drink. Okay, so we have channel 1 is going to be what? Throttle?
Yes.
So where is throttle? Rudder, cargo door, gear. Here's throttle. So this is number 3. We are not setting ours up like Hobby King anything. Signal is up, so white is up. You see white is up. How do we know that? Because it says right here, and it's gonna be impossible without the light on, hon, sorry. It says signal, then it says plus, then it says minus. So plus is in the middle, minus is in the bottom, and so that way your white cable is gonna go up. So, shut off the light, please. So what's next? We need ailerons. Okay, so ailerons is gonna be,
Just down, hanging out at the bottom.
of course, it's always the one that's not the one I'm looking at. Okay, so white goes up again. This says aileron. Okay, so white goes up. So now keep in mind, guys, this receiver will be spatially aware, but it's not really going to matter for a little bit. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just sliding those leads back, so they're the stickers back, so they're out of the way. Here's flap. Let's put flap in.
So flap would be 6.
Okay, so guys, remember white goes up, so that's going to go to channel 6. So it's the 7th port over because bind is actually the 1st position. Okay, then we have flap 2, right? Flap 2.
Yeah.
So this could be plugged into a Y cable and plugged in with the flaps. At this point, that's technically where it belongs. So we don't have one included. So we'll come back to that in a minute, okay? Then we have, what's next? Elevator.
Yep, elevator would be 3.
So 3 is going to be the 3rd channel, the 4th plug. And I want that label pulled back so it's out of the way and lift it up so it's in the correct orientation. I know this is sometimes kind of hard to see, but you'll have to take my word for it, guys. That's going into port 3, okay?
Then can you do rudder next?
If I can find it.
4?
Yep, there's rudder. So this must also steal the steerable nose gear out of there. Okay, so rudder is going into channel 4. Okay, then we have...
Gear would be 5.
Yep, that's the retracts. So gear would be 5. Now remember, there's a sequencer involved, so when you call out the gear, there's a certain process you're supposed to do. We'll see if we can do it as simple
Is
as
your
possible.
gear upside down? You have a black on the top.
It is. Thank you. Good catch. That's when you know you married a good one. Okay, so cargo door is going to be on. Which one did we set?
7, right?
Yep, 7.
Yes.
So channel 7. Okay, so it's an auxiliary channel. Orange is now signal for that. And then channel 8 is technically not hooked to anything, but we do technically have the flaps separated. So we could technically just separate the flaps. So for now, what do you think?
I think we should, if that's...
Okay, so let's plug it in. Let's plug it in because we have the channel. If we didn't, we would Y cable, okay? So just to be clear, if there is another flap channel, let's see what happens. Channel 8's probably going to manifest somewhere else.
It might.
Go back down to system setup. Disconnect RF. Aircraft type. 2 flaps. So now let's see where it went. It went to 6 and 7. Yeah, it screwed everything up.
But see, that's right flap and left flap. We have inboard and outboard flaps.
Which means we're going to want to mix them separately anyway. Good point. So that's not going to do us any good. So system setup. Good catch, camera crew. Aircraft type, back to what we had. 1 aileron, 1 flap. Okay, now why does that matter? Because now we're back to everything we had set up. So here's our flaps moving, right? So channel 6 is plugged in. Channel 8 doesn't do anything right now. It's not tied to anything. But guess what it is going to be tied to? Eventually, it's going to be tied to flaps. So we go to mixing. We'll go to the first open switch. Normal. We're going to tie flaps. What aux was it?
Oh, it'd be 6.
Aux 6?
Yeah.
Nah, I want to do flaps. So look, inhibit, throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder.
I don't think you can. Oh, there you go. Good.
So now I want that to go to aux 8 with a rate of 10% and 10% with no offset and just have it on all the time. Okay? Why? Because I don't know how much I want it to deploy, and this will get us mitigation for some level of protection. Because we're only doing 50% max. This would only be 10% of that 50. We can adjust that once we get them working. Okay? Okay, so timer. I really have no idea how long to set the timer for. I can't imagine it being like a real long flight time because it's only 2200 4S. Anything over 25%, I want it to run. At 1 minute, I want a verbal call out. At 20, I want nothing. At 10, I want a countdown. And expiration, I want to tone and vibrate with a tone every minute thereafter. Throttle cuts on. Take off. Starts counting down. Clear the timer. Resets. Throttle cuts on. Neutral stick. Neutral stick. Door should be safe. This should be safe for the flaps. So now our next move is, what are we going to do about throttle management? Okay. Obviously, at some point, we're going to have to do a little bit of cable management, but it's not really that much because that's going to eventually get glued probably in front here.
Okay.
Just like that. In fact, that's where it's going to go.
Do you want to glue it in case we have to move something around for some reason?
No, we don't. That's a good point. So we'll wait. But we got to do it so that we can start the engines. So we have to bind still. So we're not going to be calibrating the ESCs yet. We got to bind first.
Okay.
So now I am honestly not sure how I want to do this. So let's look at the charging still. I'm going to take one of my 2200s that I know for sure works. Okay, so this works. and we're gonna put this over here for now.
Okay.
Obviously the Hobby King version, you know, will run the thing. So let's get that plugged into the charger. Use my adapter because it's XT60 equipped. Plug it in and then plug it in. I'm gonna charge this at 2.2 amps. And we'll start it 4S. Okay, we'll let that run. And then I'm gonna take one of our 4S 2200s and I'm just gonna smart charge this and let that go. Then I'll be prepared and ready to use an adapter if necessary. But for now, we're gonna use the China Hobby lines because I don't have any other use for it right now.
Okay. And it should be charged enough to bind.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna remind both of us to be careful.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just set this in here in such a way that I will be able to control the plane until we know what's going on.
Okay.
I don't know what condition the gear is gonna be in. That's something that we need to work out.
Okay.
Okay? Once it's worked out, then, because we don't want the gear to try to deploy. That would be a bummer. That's the second thing I wanna watch for is the gear. The third thing I wanna watch for is flaps. The fourth thing I wanna watch for is the other flaps. The fifth thing I wanna watch for is throttle.
Okay.
So it's a lot of things to watch for, admittedly, okay? So, but we gotta get this done at some point. So throttle cuts on, throttle sticks down, switches are in the neutral position, which is only gonna do us so much good. And I'm gonna be close to this prop. So if in doubt,
I'm gonna stand back here this time.
yeah, that'd be good. Just hold that.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, you've got it away from my hand, might suck that in. Okay. Everything turns on. This shouldn't activate because it's not bound yet. Okay. So I'm gonna press and hold this. I'm gonna let it start binding. And I'm gonna throw it inside just to protect the cables and to protect the antennas somewhat, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna press the slider or the scrolly. And I'm gonna scroll down to bind and I'm gonna hit yes, bind. I don't care about the gear. We have to wait until everything is not moving and we can trust the ESCs.
Okay.
Okay? First things first, throttle cuts on. Go ahead and let go. Throttle cut's working. I trust the throttle cut enough to pick it up so that I can check the gear.
Okay.
I'm gonna lift this so that it goes on the tail. That tail is not strong enough to hold it up. But you see where my hands are? I don't like that.
No.
But I can go back here, maybe.
Do you want me to come do the gear?
Nope.
Okay.
I want you to just stay there.
Okay.
See where I've got it?
Yep.
Gear down. Okay, waiting. Don't worry about spatial awareness at all. Gear cycled. I don't know what position they need to be in. Gear down. There we go. Sweet. Steerable nose gear. Waiting for it. Gear back up. Oh, that is so sick. I'm gonna let it totally close.
Okay.
So far they're in the correct position, but we have to teach the doors. Oh yeah, those are
That's
long.
really slow.
Okay, gear down. I did not need to reverse the gear. Let the gear come down. That gear door is gonna work like an air brake. But can you imagine if that stays down?
There it goes.
That is so slow, holy cow. But by the way, squishy soft tires and steerable. Yeah, the squishy and squishy, okay. So you can also see the back door is opened halfway, which is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still can't trust stuff, so we gotta be careful. All right, so let's try, first of all, surfaces should not be hooked up. Elevator's working, ailerons are working, rudder's working, steerable's working, as you can tell. And then this door, fast acting, click, servo setup, travel, over to speed. Whoops. So that's aux 7. We'll set that to 2 seconds, and 2 seconds. Now watch. Dang it, you see one of the sticks came out, guys. You see it?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick this up carefully on the nose gear. I'm gonna just line that up. So now we gotta set how far down that goes. So I'm gonna go from speed. Hon, you see the speed?
Yes.
I'm gonna highlight that. And do I wanna reverse that? I guess, yeah. I probably wanna reverse as aux 7.
Yes.
Go to the middle, then reverse it, okay? Then I wanna go to servo setup. From travel, I wanna go to aux 7. So neutrally, I'm gonna reduce it down to like 50, okay? Okay, so it's not all the way closed now. So now that it's not all the way closed, I can, whatever position I'm in will be representative here. So I'm gonna highlight this. I'm gonna scroll it until I'm satisfied with the closure. Okay, so it looks like about 75%.
Okay.
Okay, now open. That is so sweet. You see the light come on and off? Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the open setting. And you see that open setting, how it's going down and down and down and down and down? Okay, I'm gonna go, it's about 75 and 75, you see?
Okay. Yeah, good.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back. My only concern is, am I satisfied with that downward movement? I'm afraid if I've got it down and I try to roll, I might break the door. So for the sake of what we're doing, maybe I reduce that just a little bit. So I'll do like 60, okay?
Okay.
So there's half opened. So like if you're doing a drop, you'd want it to open all the way. And yes, you can see through the side lights. That's so dang cool.
Let me show.
See it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is so sweet. So if I started the airplane in the wrong mode, I guess I probably want it to be, you know what, we'll just throw caution to it, 75, 75, okay? I love the speed. I could go a little bit slower, actually. What do you think?
I'm not sure.
How about this? On the way up, I want it to be quick. I want it to be like half a second. On the way down, let's do 3. I did that backward. I don't know. Let's do it slow on both.
I think it's cool.
It looks
Yeah.
really cool. I think we should go to 4. That's so cool. Okay, 5. Sorry. I mean, you saw how slow the nose gear is. We're gonna ruin the look of it if we go any faster.
Okay. Yeah, that's
It's just
true.
that, you know, like when we're actually doing like a candy drop or a bomb drop or whatever, you don't want it to be fast.
Well, that's a little slow.
Is it?
I don't know.
I think it looks pretty realistic. I mean, on a real one, it'd be way slower than that.
Well, that's true.
That's pretty sweet. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm fine with it. That's what we're doing.
We're gonna need to find a stopping point.
Okay,
in a few
that's
minutes.
fine.
Okay.
So, real quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the throttle calibrated so that we can be safe on this.
Okay.
So the next thing I have to do is I have to intentionally run the throttle, okay? So I'm gonna point that direction.
Okay.
Throttle cut is off. It's gonna move. Oh, yes. Oh, look! That's on when it's armed. And when it's not, it stops.
Oh, I was like, well, how did I not notice the red light?
Now you'll notice they're not turning on at the same point,
Right.
but they're pretty dang
Pretty
close,
close.
guys.
That one is definitely slower.
Okay, throttle cut's on. So how do we arm it and do this safely? First of all, do we trust it? Yes, we do.
Okay.
Do we have the flap set? We don't know yet, okay? We need to probably get this calibration done first.
Okay.
Throttle cut's on, stick is down. That gives us safety to reach in here, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and reach in here. We're gonna unplug the battery. Okay, then throttle cuts off, throttle stick all the way up. Clear the timer, make sure we don't screw with anything else. At this point, the safest way I know to do this is to just go ahead and keep my hand here, keep my belly against it. If that were to go full speed right now, it'd be kind of a mess because it would try to jump forward, but I've got it held, okay? Listen. Listen. All the way down. Throttle cuts on. Throttle cuts tested.
Okay.
Throttle cuts off. That is bogging the heck down on that battery. When you go full throttle, it bogs. Okay, so that's done.
Okay.
So now let's look at flaps real quick because, gosh, I cannot believe how fast this build has gone. This is a complicated airplane. We're not done yet. We still have to do all the linkages and crap.
Right. Well, we still have to do the forward programming and stuff, but.
Yeah, but to be honest, we have to hook up all the linkages for all the surfaces.
Yeah.
So at this point, the rudder, if I were to yaw this way, it would go that way. If I were to yaw that way, so it's going the right direction. So then, I don't know, could you tell what I was talking about?
Yeah.
So if I yaw this way,
Yes.
that would have pushed it.
Yep.
If I yaw that way, it would have
Pulls it
pulled
towards me.
Okay?
Yep.
So it's going the right direction. Elevator, that's backward. So if I go to servo setup, travel, reverse, elevator, okay? Now I pull back on the stick, elevator would go up. Elevator would go up, okay. So that's gonna be going the correct direction. Now ailerons, I can't see. When I push the stick this way, that would push that wing down, which means that needs to go up. That's going up. What's that one doing? When I push this way,
It would pull that one down. It would pull this one down.
which would make this wing go up, okay? So it's going the correct direction, okay? So since they're going the correct direction, when I move this, that would call out rolling the plane this way, which means this needs to go up and that needs to go down. So doing that right now, yep, that pushes this one up and that pulls that one forward, which pulls that down. So it had done that, which would roll the plane that way, okay? So that is correct. We're not even gonna worry about the other direction because we just wanna make sure it's going the right way so we can hook up our rods, okay? So then, what do you think about flaps real quick?
No, it's always so hard to like tell what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing too is, we could now at this point, now that we have the throttle secured, we could mount the receiver.
Yeah.
So let's
Yes.
mount the receiver because then that can be drying because
Okay.
we're about ready to take a break for batteries. Okay, guys? So I'm gonna unplug this since I'm like all up in the plane's business. Okay? So this is down here. So, China glue. See this? Spatially aware. We do need to put that so that it can be stuck to something flat. So we'll stick it right here because it's easy to do.
Okay.
We can always take it down if we don't like it later, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a big slather of glue on this right there, just like that, and yes, quite a bit, because you want it to be a lot. And I'm gonna just tack this up and spread it around a little bit. See how it's all spread out? And you see how it's tacking. Go from the other angle so they can see it. See how it's spreading out like a spider web? Okay. So now I'm gonna let that cook off for a minute, but then we gotta get it mounted somewhere. We could mount it flat on that thing, but that's gonna block light. I'd rather probably put it here, okay? So I wiped a little bit of that glue from my finger off on this ceiling. There is a wire that goes up there for a light or something. There must be a light in the canopy I didn't notice.
I didn't notice either.
Okay, so we're gonna let that keep cooking off for a minute. And I'm gonna slather a little bit more of this. Just like that, right there. And I'm just gonna put it on that surface up there. Because it's basically gonna go right there. Oh, dang. I got more glue on than I thought. So there it is. So China glue all the way around the edge. And you want to let that cook off for just a second. And the key is if you do get that on your fingers, just get it off of there quicker and it'll be less of a mess, okay? Then the antennas, we got to do the diversity antennas. And you guys are noticing I'm not doing this on a plane stand because it's actually been working out pretty good not to be on a plane stand.
Yeah.
They suggested a plane stand in the build manual, but I don't really care as long as it works.
Well, when we have to flip it over and put linkages on, we might need one.
Yeah, with the props installed.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's go ahead and this is probably good to go now. I'm pushing this back to get the wires back. And then I'm sticking this in, trying to get it aligned with the length of the plane. Now, there is a correction factor for that in the radio setup part where we do forward programming. But you see, show the people how I've just kind of got it oriented this way with the pins going backward.
Yep.
You can go whatever direction you want. You just learn it here. But I mean, like I could literally throw the plane by this if it was hand launched right now, okay?
Right.
That's how sturdy that bite is. That China glue stuff is just great. It's awesome, okay? So now let's glue the antennas because we're just gonna do it the easy way since we've already got it kind of mounted up there. So you guys see what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take the antenna that's the far one, which happens to be this, and just so you guys know, I'm gonna just slather that into the, literally stuck it into the machine or into the tube, okay? And I'm gonna just like let that set for a second. I gotta get my forceps. So here's my forceps. Actually may not be able to see from this angle. I may have to get back on the ground. And I'm just gonna take and guide this back, carefully grabbing it so I don't damage it. And I'm gonna just stick this against the wall. There's kind of a crack back there, you see? So I'm just gonna stick it back there, pull the slack out of it, and I'm just gonna let it be right there. Okay?
Got about 3 minutes for that next one.
Okay, so that's good there. Then the other one I'm gonna do, see that's lengthwise, like lengthwise with the plane. So then this one, I'm gonna do kind of a similar operation, but I'm gonna make this one stick out over here, right there, on the face of the plane right here, okay?
Yep.
And with respect to the different millions of choices you can do for this is just whatever was quick and easy for me, and it just worked in our application. You guys may need to do a little different than me. But you see, I just put that glue over the top of that, that's all. And I'm gonna let that cook off for just a second, because we're about to lose our battery. And I'm gonna stick that, oop, that one's popping up, so I have to just push it down a little bit. See how I pushed it down?
Yep.
Okay. Then this one, I'll just hold it kind of vertical and just, I want to keep that pressure off of it. I'd like to get it back in here deeper. And I'm just going to slather the glue up against the side and just kind of guide it roughly straight up and down, and then we're done.
Cool.
That's all you got to do. I mean, it's just, don't make it harder than it has to be, like everything else I do.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so our next move is going to be getting the linkages mounted. And then that's going to allow us to revalidate the direction of travel. And it's also going to allow us to set the flap travel, which is going to be a little bit of a thing. So when our battery is dead, we'll be charging for a little bit and we'll come back and finish that up together. So guys, thanks for watching. If you guys need extra help, leave questions in the comments below. We'll do our best to help you. Or somebody from our amazing group of viewers will help you. But in the meantime, if you guys are wanting to support us, BrianPhillipsRC.com. Check out competitive offerings, or you can buy stuff from the links in the video description below. And we will make small commissions from the different companies that we work with, even if they suck or are great. It doesn't really matter to us. Whatever you guys decide is up to you. So stay tuned. Continuing next. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pick up where we left off. We have to install these linkages. So what I did was I took the liberty of doing this off camera just to show you the other side. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the aileron moving, and we have the elevator moving, but it's just one of them. Now, full disclosure, when you adjust these things on these linkage rods, you can only adjust them so much, and I had to clip off however much that is, like 1/4 inch on the ailerons. I tried using the aileron back here on the elevator, and I tried the elevator would have worked up here, but then that would have meant that I had to cut even more off to do this. So I was like, whatever, I'll just put the elevator where the elevator belongs. So picking up where we left off, we'll show you the aileron on the other side, but let's do the elevator since it's right here. Okay, so you get in the bag, you get this rod and you get the bolt and you get the nut. Okay, so pretty simple stuff. What I like to do, I'm gonna just lay this out of the way, is I take a pair of pliers and I hang onto this spot so that I can work it in and out, because they're very stiff. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, that's what I'm talking about. That's where you're gonna break this head off if you're not careful. We have done it before. 1, 2. So 2 back from the end just to kind of start from somewhere. And you also have to have that angle correct. So in this case, they're lined up pretty square. So we'll just go to the top hole or the furthest most outside hole, kind of rotate that in there and let it drop down. And you can see that this can be moved, but that's in the wrong angle. So then now that that's dropped in, you have to kind of protect it from bending off the control arm and damaging your servo linkage, okay? So you gotta grab really hard when you do it once it's on there, okay? And then get that ball link so it's square. And then this, I'll usually hold this square by just compressing these together with my thumb or forefinger, or I'll come in here on the inboard portion, would probably be a little more reliable on this plane. But you can kind of hold that and see it needs to go out just a little bit before it's gonna line up with that hole. You need to get way out there with the camera. Further, further. See how it's not lined up? Come up here. See how it's not lined up? Okay, so there's only one way to fix that. That is to hold this and back it out. There's 1/2 of a turn. And there's only half turn increments. There's 1 full turn. Make sure you're at 90 degrees still. That's getting close. Maybe 1 more half turn and I think we got it. Get that ball link centered and then give it a dry fit. So you just take this bolt, slide it through the ball, slide it through the control horn, and then look where it sits right here. Megan, right here. So you got a gap there. So that's unacceptable. So we got to go out further. So we'll slide this out. We'll hold this really tight. We're actually going to pull that out, lay it on the counter. We're going to go out 1 more turn, or excuse me, 1 more half turn. Then we'll give it a shot. We should be pretty close though. Feed the bolt through. And then once that's fed through, you can go back through the control arm. And then you can see we're getting really close. Now there is play up and down on these because the nature of the style of hinge that they did. Okay, so don't be surprised if there's a little bit of play. But that looks like it's perpendicular there. So I would say we're good. So now I'm gonna take 4mm box, something, I hear a servo moving. Do you hear it?
Yes.
I'm just gonna move the servos quick. If you ever hear a servo just struggling, move the surfaces quick and see if it stops. If it stops, then you're good. If it sits there and it's struggling, you can actually burn out the motor on the servo. So when you hear it, do something. You guys probably couldn't hear that, but we could. Come around my other shoulder here. So, see this, guys? You see how it's at a bit of an angle, like it's kicked over here? Instead of being square, it's kicked at a little bit of an angle. That's preferable to be more square. This is a little bit more exaggerated than I'd like, but I don't think there's anything we can do about it. So 4mm nut driver, or grab it like that, and then get your 1.2mm driver here and go in. And you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just go to the other side of the control arm? It's gonna be worse there. So now that's torque tight, and you're probably thinking, well, Don't you want that to spin free? No, the ball link will do that for you. So elevator up, elevator down. I want you guys to be able to hear this, so I'm going to pull my mic out, from my handy dandy pocket protector. Listen to this when I give the elevator. You guys hear that? That overdriving sound. What that noise is that is the motor sweeps a trim pot inside that's internal, and that's called a feedback potentiometer. And that's how it knows where it is in the sweep. So let's call this 100, and let's call this 0, and let's call this minus 100, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever value you want to use, 10, minus 10, doesn't matter. The point is, if we're calling for negative 70, okay, then it's going to go over here and it's going to work hard. And let's say you run into something. You'll hear it's still running. That's the hesitation noise you hear, okay? What happens is that motor's still trying to drive, and it's going through all those gear sets, and so it's just got almost no torque. So if you give any resistance to these things, watch this, like this, watch. See the other one moving? That's hard on the servos when you do that. Now, obviously, I'm stronger than the foam, but the point is, if you run in an overdrive, it'll be fine for a while until you overdrive it for a long time. Like if your gear are parked and the steerable nose gear gets stuck or something, and it drives that servo the whole time you're flying, by the time you come out of it, it might be dead. That's why you listen during setup. Okay, so elevator, up, down, very good. Now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pivot the model. I did put it on the plane stand, you may have noticed. We're gonna do the other aileron. We're gonna try our best to get the same exact good outcome on this one, because this is probably gonna require us to trim down the length a little bit, and that's okay. These are the aileron ones. So same exact thing, a little bit longer, different length here, a nut and a bolt. So we'll get those dumped out right away. And here on Brian Phillips RC, we try to show every step of every build. There are times where there's redundant steps, and we will sometimes clip some of it out by basically doing it while we're charging the phone. We run out of time when we're filming because it takes so long, and I'm so slow and so long-winded and so boring. What an advertisement.
I mean, some of those things.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, you know, you can figure out how to do the other side that's exactly the same. And we never mean to insult anybody's intelligence when we do the redundant. Okay, so that's out. I can't go any further because it will break that head off, okay? So I'm gonna go back out half and just see if we're good. See how it's squared up? That needs to be 90 degrees. So I'm gonna go like this. That needs to be 90 degrees of this bend. See that bend? Mm-hmm. That needs to be 90 degrees of that head. Okay, so this one goes at the top. And all you do is you just find the top hole and just give her a little wriggle, it says Bear Grylls. Wriggle it in and then give it a twist. Now look at this. I'm gonna hold this with my finger, my index finger and my thumb right here. And I'm gonna make sure we don't have a huge disparity. But look at the play and slop. Like there's gonna be some of that.
Yeah.
That's because that moves.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is not, we're not gonna have to trim that one.
I was gonna say, that looks really close.
Yeah, but I can go out. That's
right.
The key. So you see how it's kind of bent too? That's unfortunate and annoying. See how it's bent? That's because that's an underbent Z-bend. So you see how it's kicked at an angle? Mm-hmm. It's gonna be fine, but it's still underbent. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this tight and I'm gonna back it out. There's one half, there's one full turn. So we don't have to trim this one. Just so you guys know, I used these cutters on this pair of just, you know, pliers, or needle nose pliers, and I cut the tip off. It was super easy. It's not gonna destroy that because it's pretty soft metal. So let's see how close we get. So hold that up, line it into the ball link, feed it through, and then slide it in through the clevis, or the control horn, not the clevis. Then look over here. That looks pretty close, and that looks pretty close to the parked flap, which gives you the other half of the equation, you know. We could probably actually go out half a turn more, I think. Let's see how half a turn more looks, okay? So we're gonna pull this out. Then we do have to grab the shaft and then go out. Hon, could you grab the strap, please?
You look like you're doing all right on your own.
My mouth is full.
Well.
Wrong video. What is this, RC Sparks?
Yeah. No.
Okay. If you got the joke, put it in the comments below and timestamp it.
Great.
See this? Right there. Smooth.
Yeah.
Look. Smooth. Feel it.
Looks good.
Okay. So then I got to put the nut on the back side. I'll try using the nut driver this time. You guys see this? I got this little magnet that just parks on here. It's probably not going to be enough to actually hold that in position, but I'm going to see if it does. Because I got to keep it out on the end. Ah, it just popped out and stuck to the side of the magnet. What a son of a gun. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll just hold it. Because the nut driver works good, but only off camera where stupid things don't happen.
Right.
Because let me tell you something, guys. When you're filming, all the bad things that you didn't expect to happen.
Yes.
Okay? So we're just going to keep tightening this until it's tightened. And if you do want to let that spin on there, that's fine. You can back it off because it's a nylock. Okay? These are nylocks, so they'll pretty much not back off. Okay? So there we go. We're going opposite directions. That's always good. We can validate the direction of travel is correct once we're right side up. But just keep in mind, roll is roll is roll is roll is roll. It's always roll. If I want to roll to the right, it doesn't matter if I'm upside down or right side up. If I'm behind the plane, it's going to do the same thing. See? So that's going to roll. I want to roll to the right. You see this?
Yep.
I roll to the right. Okay? That's going to bring that up. It's going to bring that down. If I want to roll to the left, hold it like that. That's going to roll down. That's going to roll up. It's indifferent. My input is indifferent to the position of the aircraft. Okay? Elevator, same thing. Up, down, right? Okay, so that's good. So now we have to do flaps. Flaps are going to be a little bit trickier just from a standpoint of I'm not sure exactly how to hook them up yet. And we got to do the rudder.
Yeah.
The rudder is going to be, we can wait until it's flipped
Flip
on
it
its
over.
feet.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I didn't get any of these done because I didn't know how to do it and I didn't want to figure it out off camera. So we have flap and then we have flap 2. Flap 2 is ball link to ball link, okay? So this thing slides in and out, right? So it just slides out like that, okay? Which is just a weird flap actuation. That's cool though. And how the heck does that work? How do we actually connect to it? I do not know. See?
I mean, there's like a little,
Is there?
a little piece in the center, but that's
Where?
not a ball link. Like from here, you're probably going to have to go around, right?
Yeah.
But that's not a connection.
It just shoots in to the center. Okay. So what that's going to mean is that's the flap. Then this is a ball link to ball link, so it clearly goes here, okay? So the flap that's got the straight part like this is going to go into that thing. And then we have to thread that in, which is going to be a real bear cat.
Oh, okay.
So in order to thread that, I'm going to have to turn this plane.
Okay.
So just so I can get my body a little bit closer. I can barely see it, but I can see it. Okay, so I just pulled that up. Now I'm going to try to start spinning this, and I just don't know how good this is going to work. Okay, I'm spinning it. Spinning it, spinning it, spinning it, spinning it. It's going in. I was afraid it was going to be very resistant to getting penetrated.
I mean, sometimes they are.
Well, it's an awkward spot to penetrate.
Well, and we don't know which way anything's moving either, right?
We haven't spent the time to figure it out yet, but we'll be able to do that pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing is we're about half flaps right now, okay? Just, you don't need to move every time, okay? So watch, flaps and flaps. That moved back, which would deploy flaps. So we're going the correct direction. That would retract flaps. But we're not at full throw. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go down to flap system, because now we know we're not overdriving. I'm just gonna go to negative until I see this get close. Now we're overdriving into the foam. So I'm gonna go back to like 90. Let's do 80.
Okay.
That's totally in, and that's totally in, okay? So there's like our neutral setting, and there's like our full flap deployment. So I'm gonna go to full flap deployment. Now, if we go past square, it's not gonna work anymore, okay? So I'm just gonna go plus 80, minus 80. And obviously we'll set our takeoff flaps to a much less than half output, okay? And we'll talk about that once it's all mechanically attached. So that's gonna be our home park position. Now you're gonna notice this moves a lot less. See how it moves barely at all? Because you remember our mix? So now I'm gonna go to mixing, and I'm gonna go back into my flap to this, and I'm just gonna set this to, see how it's moving farther and farther and farther? I'm just gonna go to 100%, and then on the other direction, see how it stops? It only goes a little bit. We're gonna go to 100% on that direction too.
I have a question.
Okay, don't ask.
I know.
Okay, so there's takeoff flaps, there's landing flaps, okay? So they're moving at 100% of whatever we call out. So right now it's 80% out, 80% back, or 80% retracted, 80% deployed. So neutral being 0. That's like our takeoff flap setting right now. So when we're in the center position, it's in the center of the range. That's normal flight mode. So normal flight mode is where I want to set my home position. Then we can deviate from there back. We have room, headroom that way, and we have lots of headroom this way. We might earn more headroom this way, but that way we got plenty of headroom. We got 20% more throw. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm in normal flight mode. So I want these things tucked in, squared away, okay? So at this point, I'm just gonna lay this over here so I don't accidentally screw something up. We can walk out of our mix, and then we can walk back down to flap system just so it's displayed, okay?
Okay.
Also, I'm still super nervous about this battery. Oh, by the way, battery tray popped off on me when I was screwing around trying to load my battery. I took the strap that was like this way. It was like this way, I don't know why. I took it off and put it this way so I can load my batteries lengthwise and strap them in.
Okay.
Turnigy makes a battery that's short like this. And so they're trying to set it up so that you can get that battery into there, presumably for center of gravity, but I just kind of tend to think they want to sell their batteries. But I don't really care what battery you use. I just think this battery is insufficiently sized for this much power. And I'll probably find out I'm right at some point, or I'll find out I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. I don't mind being wrong, I just don't want to be wrong and crash.
Well, you were testing with the China Hobby Line battery earlier, right?
Right. Okay, so listen. This ball link, this linkage is screwed in. Now I can slide to the home position all the way parked, and you can see we're quite a bit too long, okay? So now keep in mind, I can screw into this, and I can screw in this. See what I'm saying? So you can do both. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When this bottoms out, it's gonna force it to do the inside here. And you can tell because there's about like 3 or 4 threads here, and there's only 2 threads there. So once this gets bottomed out, it's gonna start forcing it in. But we're almost where we need to be. So there's 1 more. See, now I'm bottomed out, so it's gonna start forcing it in. 1, 2, 3. And that's gonna get us close. Okay, so there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, okay? So no matter what we do, I wanna try to get this thing close to lined up, pulled all the way into home position, and that's where it's gonna be, but you gotta remember, you don't wanna overdrive your servo, so put a bunch of pressure on there. So I'm gonna have to go out half a turn, or so, maybe a little more, and then we're gonna see how that lines up. I think we're gonna be okay. So then the same exact assembly, you got a nut and a bolt, okay? Dump those out. I shot my nut all the way across the counter, hon.
That's awkward.
See what happens when you let me handle things?
Well, you've been doing fine on your own.
Okay, so listen guys. I'm not gonna be able to use a screwdriver to put this in, am I?
Not that one.
Screwdriver. I'm gonna try. Oh, you know what? We'll half flap deploy. So that brings it to the top of the throw. Then again, we're not trying to adjust it now. We've already sort of adjusted it, but we are gonna have to validate our position, okay?
Yeah.
We actually use this to help pull it up, okay? So once we pull that up, we'll just line this up. Of course, you gotta do this with like 17 hands. Or you need 17 hands to do it is what I'm trying to say. Then screw this in if it'll go. Is that the second hole down? Yeah, you wanna get that to the top hole, right?
Yeah, that's
Nope.
what it appears.
Nope, they opened up the second hole down.
Okay.
So the second hole is clearly where it goes. Okay, now the other thing is this might hit the lid, and if it does, then we'll have to accommodate for that, okay? So now guys, on this one, you have to grab the nuts with your needle nose, okay? Folks, you see what I'm doing? Just grab the nuts. Give her good penetration. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna suck it all in and see where it ends up, okay? All right, so that's torqued down. So now again, we can emulate what we've done here on the other side, but I would like to make sure this at least moves first before we waste a bunch of time on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna overdrive because look what it's doing.
Yeah.
Is it enough to matter? I don't know. So guys, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, and you don't have to do this if you're not nervous about it, but it's easy to do. So I'm gonna use a pair of scissors. That looks to me like plastic. I know where it's hitting. Look. I cut it. Now I know there's no chance that's gonna cause any resistance. And it feels like a decal, not even plastic.
Yeah.
Just probably didn't even need to cut it. Okay, so you can see there's full deployment. It's not enough deployment to actually be all the way out, so watch this. That's all the way down, okay? So this may not go out as far, this may need to go out further, but check this out. Now that we know that, I can go to mixing, and I can go to this, and whichever rate watch this. The 100 here, it's gonna go further. That's pretty much all the way out. You see what just happened there? Watch where it hits. See that? You guys see what I wanted to cut it for? Just one little slit. Just less resistance. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. Watch this. Okay. Good enough for me. All right, so then if you're unsure about how much you want to pull it back, then you can change this other mix, okay? But I'm gonna go to 120, and that's gonna allow you to park that sucker so it's all the way out, okay? And then when we set our takeoff flaps, we'll be setting our takeoff flaps to some percentage in the middle, which we haven't even decided yet. So let's get this one set.
Okay.
Keep in mind, throttle cut is on.
Yes.
So I'm gonna back out, and I'm gonna go back to flap system. All right, so keep in mind, these are the ball link on both ends ones, and they have 2 screws and 2 nuts for each end. So they call this flap 2, I guess. I'm actually gonna lay it over here, hun. I'm gonna dump it out because it's like really hard to see stuff on that counter.
Yeah.
As you may have noticed for the last 7 years.
I have noticed that.
So I'm gonna grab 2 bolts, 2 nuts. I'm gonna put them right here, okay? And they are now together, and they are the same size as the others. So, same as before, you're gonna grab this thing, and you're gonna work it in. Yeah, that one's already been worked, and in and out a few times. They must have worked these at the factory. Then, that's gonna get bolted on one side or the other. You gotta bolt it at some point. You're not really saving anything by not bolting it. So let's just bolt it. Don't you think?
Probably. That other side is close to the control horn.
And they already opened up the hole, kind of like the other one. So there is no middle ground. Now, I could come at it this way and put the nut on the other side. What do you think?
Well,
I don't think it really matters.
where do you want it to hit on the other side so that you're not fighting that other flap hinge?
What? No, I'm talking about the bolt, hon.
Yeah.
So look, go to your neutral flap, so like normal flight mode. Those are gonna overdrive themselves, I bet, at some point. I can already tell just because I can hear them. Sorry, folks. I'm gonna try to bolt through this way, because that'll give me an easier chance. You hear that noise? Shh. It's the servos, because this slider mechanism is not as smooth as what we're used to. Okay, so guys, look at this. So now I'm gonna put that on, and then I'm gonna put the nut on and see if it holds. It should hold fine. So once it's started, see, I can grab this nut. I prefer to have it the other way, but it really, honestly, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
See, watch. Okay, so there's that. So now I need to find the home position, so the parked position, and then I want these to be parked in the correct spot. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see it's undoing that side. So look, 1, 2. Now I need to try to split the difference, okay? So that means I'm gonna have to hold this so it braces the shaft in the center, and then go 1, 2, 3. Make sure it's tight. It is tight, okay? So we still have plenty of purchase on the threads, and that's got a ways to go there, guys, okay? Some will go out a little bit. There's one half, there's another half, there's another half, there's another half, and I'm spinning. Yeah, but look what happened to the shaft. See this?
Yep.
That's what I was afraid of. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the next big compromise we're gonna have to do. Option 1, take off the spline, move it back half a turn. But we have headroom on both ends. So now we're gonna have to adjust where our fully parked position is on this system, or we're gonna lose our threads that hold these things on, okay? So, this is the next move. We basically, oh dang it, sorry. So now we have to line this in like this. Push this, for God's sake, sorry. I'll pick that up in a second. So we're gonna feed this through here. And I'm just gonna go with, there's probably not a whole lot more we can do there, right?
Okay.
So let's make them the same length. How about that? We'll copy whatever the length is on this side for the other side, and it'll be our presetting. Okay? Then this is gonna go up and out. Now we can't go to the home position yet because we're gonna overdrive the servo right now, okay? You understand?
Yeah.
So there's the nut, the nylock. We're just gonna hold that with the nylon. Always goes out and away, because you wanna hit threads that are naked first and then threads that are plastic later. And that's how you get everything to hold on. Ooh, did I go on the wrong side? I did.
Oh, yes.
You guys see what I did there? I went from here to there. That was incorrect. That was obviously a screw up on my part, so I'm gonna pull this out. Okay, so once it's out, then I need to go to the other side, which means I want this to come through this way. Like I said, it doesn't matter which way you go with your hardware, it matters what way you go with your actual linkage. Okay. And during a dynamic, like during the dynamics of flight are gonna move around your servos But when you're sitting here inside the comfort of your home and there's no airflow and there's no loading on them, that's why you'll get these servos wanting to overdrive themselves. Oh, this is frustrating to get this in. See what's happening? I'm fighting because I'm trying to go through this thing.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. Just the perfect length to be impossible. Okay, I'm just gonna be a smart feller instead of a fart smeller. But I'm just not quite there yet. It's getting annoying. See that? Ooh, I can turn it all the way around and do this.
Oh, I'm gonna show them from the side. You're doing.
No, because I'm gonna be done by the time you get around. Okay, see? Look. See what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to full landing flaps and see what happens. And then that's gonna be, yeah, we'll have to limit that too. So right now we're gonna be right in the middle because the way they designed this particular flap to work, it is gonna be an awkward thing. Okay, there's just no getting around it. Okay. Now I need to pick up my nuts again. Well, nut. And I'm gonna reach in there to that tight spot. Why didn't they just Z-bend this one?
I don't know.
Seems like they could have just done a Z-bend like they did on everything else.
Yeah.
That was a real pain in the neck. Okay, so now, before we get any further, I have to replicate that and I have to find the bolts. Let's do that quick. So before I get too excited, I gotta match these threads to that side. I've got like 3 or 4 threads and like 4 or 5 on one end, it looks like. So I'll just go, and then I'm gonna hold these to see if I've got them aligned. That's close, but probably no cigar. So I'll go half a turn out. You guys see what I'm talking about right there? You could actually slide it onto the shaft if you had enough length on there, but you don't. That's pretty dang close. That one needs to come out half again.
Yeah.
So guys, there is no real easy way to do this. So you better do it right now or you're not gonna be able to do it later. That is where it needs to be. That's where it's gonna be.
Okay.
Okay, so I can lay this back down so it's safe and not plopping out all over the place. Because really at the end of the day, you just need to match the left to the right. But in the meantime, this needs to be matched to be able to move, because watch what happens. I'm gonna stop it, but watch, it's gonna try to overdrive. See? Overdriving. So now we have to set our absolute position for closed to less than 80. So let's set it to like 30. Wow, that's pretty close. See, that's pulled tight, but you can see as soon as it starts bending, the shaft goes like this. I'm looking at this seam, and I'm looking at this getting bent. It's bending. I don't think I'm gonna get any more than that, okay? Then, normal, like takeoff flaps, which we're gonna play with. Then, landing flaps, for sure you can't do 100. So I have to be prepared to back that off, which means we're gonna have to remix all that crap, which sucks. Let's go to 30. Okay. Okay, so 30. I don't know if I want those straight down like that. It looks kind of stupid. So if we did like 40. That's so weird. So now we got to really max out this from the mix. So we'll go back to mixing. So this setting, we can only go so far, okay? And also on this, look, we got to bring that way down too. And we're still not all the way closed, okay? So what we can do is then we have to make another mix. That's going to be aux 8 to aux 8 or flap to aux 8 again. So then rate, take it off. Whoops. Yeah, I can't do it that way, can I? I have to go from flaps as the driving force. I better... There's flap. Okay. So now you can see it's moving a lot further. See how it's walking back? Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm going to use this number. See, I'm walking it back, it's closing it or opening it. Geez, 125 and 50. Takeoff flaps, landing flaps. Okay, now those two are in the same similar physical position. Now we can use flap mode to make the adjustments. Or you could go in and set up your throws in servo setup for that particular setup, okay? So it'd be under flap. Like you could change that from 100 back. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. This is just one way, okay? So that parks them, that's takeoff flaps, that's landing flaps. But now that we've done that, let's go to flap system and let's set takeoff flaps. So there's takeoff flaps. There's landing flaps. This might be one of the times where I strangely want okay. So this is a preference thing. Now we have takeoff flaps here and landing flaps here. Okay, now that we've done that, we have to match the mechanical settings over here. How do we do that? We do it exactly the same way we just did that other setting. The only difference is this time we're going to be on this side. And it's going to be harder to see what's going on over there. And so it is a little bit more challenging because you're trying to mimic what you can't see as good now. But in order to get this done right in the quickest and easiest way, we already made this linkage the right length. And we've already got it squared up. So all we should have to do on this is basically feed the bolt through and get it to work, okay? Are we in takeoff flaps? Let's go to takeoff flaps. That gets away from the binding.
Oh.
Okay. So it looks like our bolts were going, we fed them on the far one, we fed them toward the nacelle. And we had the control, excuse me, I gotta get my orientation right. The head of the screw went here. The head of the screw went here, fed through, okay? Like that. And then this was on the inside. Ooh, wow, but that ain't gonna work over here. Just, well, yeah, it will.
Yeah, because then your nut was right up against that other hinge.
Yep, that's right. If only I were left-handed, this would be easier. Which I'm not.
It would be, but you're not.
It's annoying. Some of these steps, you know, in these builds can be a little bit frustrating. But it is kind of the nature of the beast. This has actually been a really easy build compared to what I expected. As complicated as this plane is, I can't hardly believe how easy it's been. And we just did that helicopter the other day. You guys haven't probably seen the video yet, but good Lord.
Your magnet is stuck to your screwdriver.
Stuck the shaft?
Yeah.
That's where I had it before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thought it was on your nut driver.
Well, whatever. Oh, yeah. You're right. I'll stick it on the forceps if that makes you feel better.
I assume we should lose it in the plane.
That's probably a pretty fair thing to be worried about, since we've already done that once today.
Just always looking out for you. Should be the same.
Okay. See what I did there? I use the screw, and then I use this tool on the other side to feed it into it. So now same thing, go in there and grab the nuts. So this side, like I said, should be quite a bit easier. Then we just have to validate that we have similar amount of deflection. And you know, there's some people that are gonna make those inboard flaps do nothing. And they're gonna make them do nothing except for on landing or something like that. Totally up to you how you do it. In my case, I wanna see both of them work. Okay. So now let's actuate. There's our home position. That seems pretty smooth to me. Let's do our full landing position. That looks close. It's kind of hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
Because the body blocks your view. But just looking at the angles, I think we got it. I think we're okay. Now, the last surface we have to do before the rudder is going to be easy, is this. This is the last time we have to hopefully do this. So I am going to try to mimic the position from this side. Okay? We have 2 threads exposed, maybe 1.5. Okay? That shaft is bent.
Oh.
That's weird. So once we get this in here, all but 2 threads, then that should mean that we'll be driving it with this. Takeoff flaps. You can hear it over driving.
Yeah, on this side more.
Makes me kind of nervous, but about the longevity of those servos. I'm holding on real tight. It's really kind of hard. Yeah, there it goes. You see how hard I'm holding that, guys?
Yeah.
My knuckles are going to be white when I'm done with this. See what I'm talking about? I was really grabbing that thing hard. So, in order to do this step, I have to, first of all, I'm going to slide these in and out. Ooh, man, that paint was making it stick bad. I got this specialty lube that I use sometimes. That's like a silicone-based product. And I have a dry lube that I use that's also would be really good for this, like PFE or something like that. And I wonder if that would be good where this paint has been deployed.
Oh. It's like the extra toxic kind.
No. It's just equally as toxic as everything else. Okay, so I'm turning the whole thing. I know you guys can't see, but weirdly enough, it just works. I did not think that was going to be easy. Okay, how are we going to set the stage for this position? Close it to the home position. That's how you test. Because there is no other test.
Okay.
Right? Agreed?
Well, yeah.
There is no other test. Okay, so we'll put that through. And then we just leave the nut off. And we're supposed to be at takeoff flaps right now. So let's go landing flaps. Now, I can tell right now this needs to be slightly more deployed. Okay, which means we need to take this off and let it screw out just a little bit so it forces it out further. So in order to do that, I'm gonna put this tool in here so it don't drop inside the plane. Some crazy nonsense that happened earlier. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it from here because there's no other way to do it, right?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot of turns. In you go. And then in you go. Now let's see if they're about even. Okay, remember this is not nutted, and when you nut it, it will make a little tiny adjustment. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my tool and I'm gonna measure back from that plastic to the edge of the deployment, okay? That's my measurement. It's not a perfect measurement, but I can use my finger. Oh, that's pretty dang close. That looks pretty close. I think we got it. Okay. So now watch the home position. The other thing you can test is you can test this gap, and it looks like that gap might be just about the perfect width for this. Okay? See how much further it is? That's further. So we got to go out a little bit more yet. Okay? Right?
Okay.
So we'll just pull this out. And then we got to go out a couple of turns. 1, 2. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Because I'm just getting nervous. We're going to be unthreaded here pretty quick. So there's 3. Okay? Let's see how we look now. So folks, there is no shortcut in this step that I have found that works. And any shortcut that you think might work is probably going to leave you in suffering and misery. AKA you'll be crashing your rescue plane. Okay? So now we can measure again. Make sure you actuate to home and go back out. It's still pretty close to that bite point. That's still further. Don't you think?
You have more to go.
Yeah.
But
What?
in your home position, it looked pretty.
Because the home position, it can only go so far. You can only go so far.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to grab this shaft. I'm going to untwist this. I'm going to untwist it again. And then I'm going to untwist it again. Except you see what's happening? It's not untwisting the end. It's untwisting from the inside.
From the inside.
There's 1, 2, 3. Again. Now I have to I don't have it bit hard enough. Okay, so watch. I'm gonna bite that super hard. 1, 2, again at that time. 3, 4. That's a lot of turns. And that's the only way you can do it, guys, just until you get it. So I would say we would pause and just come back when we get it, but I think we might have it now. Look at that, that looks pretty good. So now I'm just using this as a gauge. On the black, you can see.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That's a little bit bigger than the width of the head. Oh yeah. Are you gonna show from like a side where they can actually see?
Well, you're
like
doing
right
it too
here.
fast.
Just look. See that? That's pretty dang close. And then over here, look at this, guys. That's pretty dang close. So that's an easy measure. Landing flaps, I think we might have it. Admittedly, I kind of wish there was a little bit more going on with that. That's a whole lot of work for a flap that barely moves.
Yeah. A little disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second. Oh, jeez. Don't cross-thread that thing, Brian. There we go. Got it started now. But honestly, I might need to look at that for just a second because I feel like, why is there not more deflection? Did we change the absolute position somehow? Because that should be able to go out further. For landing flaps.
But we had to readjust this one, and then you're like topped out.
Hold on. Oh, because I didn't want more. Okay, so watch this. So we're where we want to be on the landing, like the main flaps. But then on mixing, whichever side is down now, nope, that needs to go back to 50. See that? It's maxed out. So I have to do another one. Jeez. Whoops. So mix number 3. Good lordy lord. So we'll go flap to aux 8. We only care about this one, right?
Yeah, should be.
Wait. Why is it not working? Is it not moving?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
See, but it's just not going. Like, it's got nowhere to go.
Right.
I don't see it moving until just now. But it is moving a little bit. Okay, so another 35. Jeez. But see, if that's the case, then why couldn't we adjust this one? Yeah, we could. My apologies. We'll eliminate that last one. So we'll just go to 125, and then we'll just delete this one. So if you ever need to reset one, just go all the way down to reset. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So keeping in mind, if you want more at this point, then you can actually add that back in. So flap and then aux 8. And it just happens to be this first value. See, it just lines that up. It just moves that down a little bit more. So we'll do another 25. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. But you know what? This isn't sucked down all the way. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go back to flaps and we need to park them a little bit lower. So instead of -30, see how it pulled it in? Mm-hmm. See how it's -40? This is pulled tight now. This is pulled tight now. But I feel like we're overdriving the other ones. So what I'll do is I'll go to mixing and I'll just go to the first mix and I'll go to the negative side. See how it's backing them off? Mm-hmm. No, you can just look at them. You were holding your head down. You weren't even looking, were you?
I was listening.
I know, but you were filming. Were you filming it?
Yeah.
Because watch, I want to show you what it looked like before. 125, I'm bringing it back down from 125. Watch this.
I'm watching.
Watch this. Watch this close. It's going to untwist. Is it untwisting?
Yes.
Okay, you guys see what I'm talking about? So that's important because at the end of the day, you want to park them, but they're parking at different rates. That's why they wanted 2 servo controls, which frankly is pretty annoying. That's a lot of work. But I don't know how else you would do it. It's too complex if you put them together. But it does look sweet. Here, come here and so you can show them from both sides. Okay? Take off flaps. Now landing flaps. Now take off flaps. Now the other thing is I'm going to go back to flap system. I'm going to change my 3 seconds to 4. You know why? Because we're only using part of the range. The perception of speed is wrong. In fact, I'm going to go to 5 seconds. So guys, there are a lot of settings there. And that's one of the most fun things you can do on these planes is do these changes. It's really fun to screw with this stuff, okay? Now, check this. Check this. That's pulled in tight. Mm-hmm. That's pulled in tight. That's pulled in tight. That's pulled in tight. And then all the way out, that's not going to relieve itself. That's not going to relieve itself. That's not going to relieve itself. It's not going to relieve itself. Okay. So all the things that matter are working. The ailerons are working. The elevator's working. So now we got to do the rudder. In order to do the rudder, we got to flip things upside down, which means I just got to quickly reset the tools so that we can actually put it on its belly. And by the way, if you haven't seen, watch the retracts. If you didn't cycle them, those lights won't be on. Cycle. 1. I want to show you this, okay? So watch how long. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so watch this. I want the gear down to land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now you're clear. 18 seconds to clear. You better have your gear down early on this thing.
Yeah.
But they are sweet.
Yeah, they are.
But I mean, that is a lot of time. I bet a lot of people have landed on these nose gear.
Nose doors, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the next one we got to do is the rudder. And then we'll be done with flight control surfaces. Oh, show the people real quick just where my battery is while I grab a drink of this coffee.
Yeah.
Show them.
And then the tray, you just glued back in.
I had to glue it back in
move
with
the
China
strap.
glue.
Yeah. I noticed that strap was like back there weird too. Makes more sense.
65 millimeters back for the center of gravity, by the way, which we will check here in a minute. By the way, if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, thanks for joining us for this build. This is not a brand new release, but I've been wanting to do it since it was new. And I really love the C-130, so thanks to Hobby King for working with us on this one. If you guys want to support us and the partners that we work with, buy stuff from the links. It's not just about the commissions that we earn. We definitely want to see this hobby advance and continue to get better and better. And honestly, we think it's gotten a lot better while we've been working through it. And whatever tiny little small part we can play, we're happy to be doing it right now, okay? We don't just do this for show. We're actually living this reality, okay? So when you see people that come onto YouTube and they like drop a box on their, you know, mother's basement floor and on some table and they put a bunch of neon lights up, okay, that's great. I'm putting up a hanger when 3 runways in my property.
And my kid spent half the day at the airport waiting for one plane to land.
Well, that happens too. So guys, when you're making your decisions on who you want to listen to, that's not to say that there's not people that love this hobby too, that are on YouTube doing different things. But I will say this, we're not faking it. We never have. And that's why sometimes we get so frustrated. Okay, 3. This is gonna be too long.
Yeah.
It's gonna be too long.
Yeah.
I can already tell it's gonna be too long, but I'm gonna have to shorten this a lot. So in order to get the best crack at success, I'm actually gonna grab down here so I can do that. And then I'm gonna turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 halves, 15 halves. I don't think I'm gonna get any more. Let's see how far off we are. Yeah, we're way off. You see that, guys?
Oh yeah.
If that was in there, look where we are.
Yeah.
And just keep in mind, the rudder should be centered right now, physically. And so, of course, we have to throw it both directions like that. There ain't no way that's gonna reach.
No.
So the only option is, there's 2 options. If you're way off like this, you can do a bend, okay? You can rebend it, you can re-Z-bend it if you have a Z-bender. I do have a Z-bend tool, but the other thing you can do is you can do another bend here. Or you can bend here and give yourself a mechanical adjustment as well. I don't like shortening these because you compromise the threads to a certain extent. I will shorten them if I can shorten them a little bit, but if you shorten them too much, by the way, I don't know if you guys can see this, I'm literally bending my tool so I can bite the shaft hard enough to do this. So now do that while you're hooked up to that and see how quick you break the servo horn. Do you see it bend?
Yeah, I know.
Like bending the tool. I might also speak to how crappy the tool is. I don't know. It seems like a pretty decent, it's a Craftsman tool. It's not like the best, but it's not the worst either. Do you hear those servos screaming? Takeoff flaps. Let's just put them on takeoff flaps. Okay, so if I do a Z-bend in this, then I'm gonna lose probably about the exact amount that I need to lose, okay? So I'm just gonna do it. It's just the only option. I don't wanna cut this to shorten it if I can avoid it. So, but it's contingent on me to get that totally straight when I'm done, okay? So the way I'm gonna do this, my own little Z-bend, is I'm gonna set the stage for the thickness of the bend by the head. So if I go too long, I'll have to extend it out a little bit more. So we'll go about like this, and I'm bending down, okay? And you're like, you just did that, Brian. Why did you do that? Because I'm trying to use up length, okay? Then I'm gonna go back by about the same amount. Now this time you can bite with more of the head of the tool. And then I'm gonna bend back. And then I'm gonna bite here. And I'm gonna support next to the bend point, okay? I'm gonna score that up just a little bit. Then I'm gonna take and bite about the same amount here. Bend it back a little bit. And then I'm gonna bend here again. guys see what I'm doing here? I'm using up length. You don't want to do the 4-bend style because that'll take up too much. This is a pretty strong rod, by the way, like really strong. Not uncommon for a rudder servo linkage. You see that nasty not straight? That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Right.
So I'm going to grab it where it's not straight, and I'm going to bend it down until it is straight. Okay. Because you want that lateral motion to not give up a thing. Okay. Feel like we're close. All right, so let's see what kind of length we got now. Okay, so we got that turned 90 degrees. Let's go ahead and wrap this in here. Man, we're still a ways off.
But you can go in now.
We can.
Yeah.
But not by much. Okay, so let's see how we look. Jeez, we're still way off. That is a nutty amount of adjustment.
Okay, but is it enough that you can cut a little bit now and not compromise the threads?
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna have to. Because like basically what you're trying to avoid is bottoming out in this thing, because you will literally rip the head off. It'll like just break.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're like, what do I do now? And if you have it right on the edge of breaking and then you go under heavy loading from flying, you might break it during flight. Okay. So come here, look at this. See how this thread is deep, 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 and then it tapers at the very end? We don't need to lose that much. You can always cut a little bit more, okay? Mm-hmm. Holy cow, that's some thick stuff. That's thicker than the other ones. And then that's kind of a nasty edge, but I think we're gonna be okay. So I'm just gonna use this. I'm just gonna rub the bottom of my wife's counter because she loves it when I do this. And that makes this nice little finished edge there, okay? Then we can just get penetration again, get it started, and then go to town. Okay, so there it goes. And then I can hang on to my nice little handy dandy handle now. Okay, so we're almost there. You want to be 90 degrees so that this is flat compared to that. And then the other thing is I want to just give a quick check to make sure I'm still square, and I am. That's 3 I had to cut on this plane. That's bad quality control on that step. That should not be true. Look at this. This is a primary flight control surface.
Still not.
Still not there. And I'm, oh geez. Well, I guess I'm gonna cut more. I could have cut more.
Right. But it's better to start with too little.
Yeah, because you're not adding length back. I can tell you that for sure. Okay, you guys see how much I'm taking now? Probably another 3 to 4 turns. I'm gonna shoot. Oh, I'm gonna shoot it in the garbage can. It's over there,
we
guys.
moved it.
Why are you looking at me like I was doing something wrong? Told you what I was gonna do. Okay, so we'll turn this back on. Now, it takes longer before you would hit the bottom of the inside of that tool, and so you can get a little bit closer to where you need to be. By the way, I gotta say the build quality on this plane has been good, except for basically the couple of quality control issues. And when I say couple, I mean like this and the other one.
But how hard is it to make the control arms the right length, or the rods?
I don't know, evidently harder than we think.
Well, they did it on some of them.
Okay, so gotta drop the screw in there. I don't know, I've been pretty impressed with the quality of these planes. There's a million things that you can get wrong on a plane, guys. So we just need to be at least fair to these manufacturers once in a while. We're pretty hard on them because, you know, when there's 10,000 things you can screw up and you screw up 4 of them, that's pretty good.
That's pretty close, but it's still too far that way. The top, it's kicked that way just a little bit.
Which means that we can extend it out.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's 2 ways we can do it. We can either unfold our bend or we can extend it out. You think it's too far this way?
Yeah, just very
Watch this.
slightly.
One other thing, when you don't have that tight, sometimes it will screw up the position a little bit. And it is really close. Grab this with your finger and squeeze it in there so it's tight. Because the faces have to be square and flush. Okay, now let go. That's bent. I straightened it. It goes further that way than it does this way. See, it runs into the thing.
Yes.
I wonder if it's running out of room there. You think it's running out of room, maybe?
I don't know. I do see that it's hitting the foam.
So if it's hitting the foam, then what does that mean we have to do?
Either cut the foam or change your travel. Which I'm assuming you're gonna cut the foam.
Only a tiny little bit. Because it looks really good right now, and I don't want to screw that up. But remember this, folks. Better to screw up the good looks of a crappy operating plane
Yeah.
than screw up the good looks by a crappy operating plane. Did you like that one?
Why did you put that away before you tested it?
What do you mean? To make sure it'll fit?
That confident?
I have no doubt. So, the other thing is, see what I did there?
That was amazing.
What? Did it match?
It's fine.
What? You don't think it's good enough? I thought it was a pretty darn good match myself.
Stop.
What?
You're gonna overdo it.
I'm not gonna overdo it. It already ripped off. I gotta do something about it. Okay. So I think that I don't think we can go, we could go out a little bit more, I guess, if you want, if you think it's better that way.
I'm just saying that, but the rudder itself might not be square. The top might just be bent out a little bit.
Okay, so we'll go out one full turn, okay? And we'll see what happens. And I mean, maybe that's too much as well. I don't know. Okay, so let's do this. And guys, it's like, the truth is it's guess and check. There isn't like an absolutely right or absolutely wrong answer. It definitely is hidden. What do you think? I don't think it's gonna get better than that. I think that's pretty much where it is. Okay, I'm satisfied with it. If you're satisfied with it,
I'm thrilled.
I can tell your satisfaction level is definitely not as high as mine with this solution. So, all right. Couple things to think about. Rudder moves, but it does move more that way than it does this way, okay? When I give full throw that way, look where it is.
Yes.
Look, when I give full throw this way, it didn't even reach the side, okay? So there are ways to resolve that too. You wanna know what they are?
What?
Watch.
Unbend it a little bit?
No. You can actually take and bend it a little bit this way. Watch this. Further. See?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't like doing that, but is it in my head or is it moving further?
No, I move further.
Okay, and it's also pulling it away from that corner, okay? And it's just a geometry thing. So look, I can bite this now and squish it down just a hair, and bite the center and squish it down just a hair. And then let's see how we look now. See, now we're favored over that way. See, we're just short, and now we're just short. That's pretty dang centered now, but it's not centered neutrally.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, well, which one do you want? Do you want it to be centered neutrally, or do you want it to throw neutrally?
You want it to be centered neutrally, don't you?
Well, it depends.
So I mean, because induce yaw.
You can change your center position.
Well, okay.
Okay? Because if you want the travel to end there and the travel to end there, go to monitor, and you can see you're at 100 and you're at 100, right? So you just want the center to be somewhere else, like that. See that? So like 12, 13 would be the center, let's call it. Maybe 10. So this would be 90 and that'd be 110.
Okay.
So watch this. I think I can do it like this. Wait, how would I do that? Wonder if I could do it right here. Normal. Rudder. Rudder to rudder. Now remember, this is also going to impact the steerable nose gear. So rudder to rudder, watch this. Offset. Ooh, we don't want an offset. I gotta think about this. Oh, this mix is inactive because I haven't done anything to anything, okay? So 35 to 35, right? So let's say. Then the offset's gonna kick in. See the offset? So there's 20. See that? Compared to that. And then we can change this value and this value. Good, good. And then the offset. See the offset? See, look at 80. So you can screw with stuff like this and try to get it dead center. Right. But I just don't know how much it's going to impact the flight performance. Because like I said, I bet it's going to roll the plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you that that's the way I played with it. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to reset it. You know why? Because it ain't going to matter anyway. Because most of the time you're going to have some trimming on that rudder anyway. I think the best thing to do in this application is probably just to center it and be done with it. Because you're not going to oftentimes give that much throw anyway. And my fear is then you're going to get your steerable nose gear all screwed up.
Yeah.
If you start doing all that, well, you know what else I noticed is there's slop on this too. That doesn't help anything at all. In terms of evenness, did you see what I was talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk this all the way out. And then 1, 2, or well, do you wanna do 1? Because
it moved it quite a bit when you flatten that out.
Huh?
It moved it quite a bit when you flatten that out.
Oh, when I turned it? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I had forgotten about that. Okay, so we'll go in 2 halves. So 1 full turn. Okay. We'll see how much that impacts things. Guys, thanks for being part of this experience here on Brian Phillips RC. This is a long video, a little bit tedious, but you know what? That is building airplanes. Okay, look. There's slop on it. That didn't help nothing.
No.
But let's see what it looks like. All the way over, all the way back. Whatever it is, I think that is what it is. It's just gonna be that way and there's nothing we can do about it because it's a mechanical issue. It's a flaw with the design, right?
Right.
And the more we piss with it, the more it's just gonna frustrate us. When you could get 3 clicks of trim and fix it in there and then be done with it. Because you know, just because that surface is centered doesn't mean it's gonna be centered when you're done flying it the first time.
Right.
My rule of thumb is to make it as good as you can get it before you get it in the air. But when you have that much play mechanically,
yeah,
there's only so much you're going to be able to do. Okay? I think we're fine. All right, so elevator, go in the correct direction. Ailerons, correct direction. Yaw, correct direction. Steerable, correct direction. Takeoff flaps, landing flaps, correct direction. Good flap deployment speed. Door, beautiful. Light, beautiful. Landing gear, beautiful. This plane is completely set up with the exception of safe and AS3X. And you're probably thinking, oh, good Lord, we have more to do? Yep, we do. And guess what?
You have 45 minutes to do it in.
It'll be the easiest thing we've done all night. It really will.
No, I know. We got to do CG and accessories though too.
The accessories will take 30 seconds. I just don't want to do it before we have the rest of this done. Okay, so first things first, set up your model totally first. Don't have anything undone, okay? Why don't you come around here?
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing we haven't really quadruple checked, throttle cuts off, forward thrust, throttle cuts on, throttle sticks down. We even have to set up differential thrust on this.
Right.
That would add a lot more setup, but you could do it. It's just gonna be a pain in the butt. Okay. Oh, off camera, I did one other thing. I went into telemetry. I changed this from something to volts. And then I set it for a voice alarm if we drop below the minimum, having set to 4S with warning reports at 30 seconds. Okay, that was set to some other random thing that didn't matter. So now if you walk out and you scroll over, 15.5 volts. I also took a lighter and shrunk down that red heat shrink.
Oh.
Because I was just like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna heat that up so that my leads were touching more effectively, okay? This also has a Vario on it. It's not actually doing anything right now. And normally I would use a Vario on like a sailplane, but it's kind of cool that it's on there. There is no audio event tied to this right now, but you can tie that up and you can set that up, okay? And if you decide to do that, you would do that in audio events, okay? Audio events. Or actually, no, you do it on, where is Vario? Can't remember where that is.
It has to be in...
System sounds. Yeah, where the heck is
Where do you
it?
have to turn the Vario on?
There's a way to set it up. But like, I honestly, see, I just cleared it.
Yeah.
It's under telemetry. That's where it is. Vario. There it is. Okay, so the switch inhibit on would make the audio event work. Or you can tie it to a switch. Like say you want it on switch E and you want it to beep when it's in these two settings. And you can change the amount that makes it beep so that it's like really low, okay? And it's on when switch E is in these two conditions. So right now it's on, throttle cuts on, so I can move this plane around. Listen. Oh, you know what? I bet I haven't saved it yet. It probably didn't do anything yet. There it is. So guys, listen. That's how sensitive you can make your Vario with these things. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that back off. So under Vario, I don't need that to be so sensitive. And to be honest with you, I don't even really care about it. So that's more normal. And I'm actually gonna turn off the audio event. And then I'm gonna turn off the display. Because then, when I'm scrolling through, I don't have that other thing to scroll through to get to what I want to see, okay? But you do have altitude, which is kind of cool, okay? All right, so I'm gonna put that switch back to neutral. So we set up all sorts of stuff already, but now it's time for forward programming, folks. This is where we set up AS3X and safe, gyro settings, first time setup. Make sure the model has all the blah, blah, blah. Yep. Continue. Set it on its nose and press continue. Okay, so I'm going to set it on its nose and continue.
You want me to hit continue?
Does that look right to you?
Yep.
It's kind of hard to tell since it's got the underside of the receiver, but yeah, that is correct, okay? Once you have a spatially aware receiver located, then it'll make sure all the orientations for corrections are correct, okay? So then continue. Gain channel select. It's gonna be the rotary knob, so aux 9. There it is. It's rebooting. If in doubt, hold the plane just in case. Exit to main screen, and you saw that. That means one is AS3X is on. Then, gyro settings. F mode setup. Flight mode channel. We're going to go to F mode. Aux 10. Remember when we set that up later or earlier? Now watch what happens. Booyah! You can see it changing. I want an off setting. So there's inhibited. Now we're going to have AS3X in 1 and AS3X in 3. See how it stopped updating? The connection failed. Back into forward programming. Gyro settings. Flight mode setup. Yep. Working again. Remember, if you're in AS3X setup through forward programming and something fails, don't worry, that doesn't have to be connected in that manner during normal flight. You just are doing the setup then, and you wouldn't do that while you're flying, okay? So once you're set, it's already written to the memory locations and it runs. But if you lose connection, don't freak out. It's not gonna do that all the time, okay? See, lost connection again. That's bizarre. Okay, so, very good. So I'm gonna go to next. Very good. So then first time safe setup. We already set it, verify it's correct. Hit next. I want safe down here, continue. Okay. All right, so now if we have that receiver mounted a little bit off cant or a little bit tipped down or something like that, this is where we're gonna set the stage for a level flying. So if you want your plane to fly like this in safe, then it's gonna go uphill. Don't do that. If you want it to fly like that, it's gonna fly downhill. Don't do that either. However, if you're the type of person that likes to set safe when you're flying with flaps, you probably wanna get the attitude a little bit nose down, not level, because the flaps are gonna tend to make you wanna balloon a little bit. And you can get yourself into an unrecoverable stall at that point. So just a little bit of downhill if you're doing that. Otherwise, just go with normal. Level, model, and capture attitude. Look at that. Geez, we were way off on level. Let's do it again. Now watch this. Let's say you wanted to tip it downhill like this. Watch this. See how much different it is? Mm-hmm. Let's say you really wanted it to fly downhill. Look at that. See? Can they see how the plane is? Go back. See how far up it is? So now, watch this. You go really far downhill. Look. 10. Okay? So, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to lay it back on the table. And I'm going to do it twice. I always do it twice to make sure I don't have some fluke reading or like a spring that's set up, you know, on a suspension that's maybe squishing down a little bit weird. And you can make manual adjustments. Okay, so in flight mode 3, or the down position, when it says safe mode, I want safe on. Self-level angle demand with angle limits set to whatever the max is, because I do not want angle limits at all, but you have to have angle limits for safe to work on these systems, okay? In fact, do you have to? Yeah, it doesn't give you, yeah, you can either do a flight envelope like this, or you can do both, but you don't have just self-level. I kind of, honestly, I prefer self-level. I don't really like the bank angles. Okay, so then in this mode, it's off. See how it says inhibit? And in this mode, it's off. See how it says inhibit? So these values don't matter at that point, okay? So now I'm highlighting next, and I'm gonna apply. Now watch, 2 dances. There's 2. So that indicates that safe is on, but not necessarily enabled. Or excuse me, it's enabled, but not necessarily on. Okay, return to forward programming. Gyro settings, AS3X settings. This is the gain sensitivity. You could set that way high. Fixed adjustable. They're all adjustable. They're off. And they're still adjustable. Okay, so both modes with the AS3X active are adjustable by this knob. Okay, It's probably not active because we haven't given throttle in order to activate it. But interesting thing about being in forward programming, watch this. Throttle cuts on, throttle sticks up, now it works. So your throttle stick is still red, it just doesn't give power to the props, okay? Throttle cuts off, forward thrust, nothing. But you better have that on because when you exit the menu, it could go live, okay? So, I'm just gonna test this. When I move this, it should go that way. It should go that way to resist. And it does. And it does. Look at this elevator. When I go up, it should resist. Yes, it does. When I go down, it should resist. Watch the aileron. When I tip this plane, it should resist go up. Yep. When I go down, it should go down. Watch this. When I lift up, this one should go up. Oh yeah. When I go down, it should go down. Oh yeah. So, here's the next thing. Our gain's all the way up. Off. On, off, safe, off. Back to AS3X, listen, master gains all the way up, half amplitude, off, quarter amplitude, 1, 1.5, 2, okay? So everything's working there, so I'm gonna go back to forward programming, gyro settings, AS3X settings, then I'm gonna go from 4X down to 1X, okay? Then I'm gonna do the same exact test. You can tell it's moving, but not much, okay? On this plane, that might be enough, it might not be enough. It does seem like a pretty small amount of movement, but I guess we'll see. It's pretty rare that we need more movement, but it's hard to see. So, set that gain as high as you need to be able to see it. Right now I put it back to 1X. I put it back to 1X, okay? That was 4X. There is another way to do this. Under system setup, gyro response test. Okay, now, when you're in this page, nothing is working as usual. That's why I'm not a huge fan of it, but I still show it every time because it's very easy to see what direction it's correcting. Very easy to see. Whatever movement you make it move without telling it to do it from here, it should resist. Because if I say wind, it should resist, okay? All right, so now when I exit this menu, it's gonna stop doing that. And now it's back to just whatever the mode was if you're active because you've given throttle. Okay, walking out, we're done now with safe. Let's test safe. Last test, cleared timer, throttle cuts on. We're in normal flight mode. We have no door opened. That's so dang cool.
Yeah.
The gear are down and they're fine. Roll left, roll right, elevator up, elevator down. You guys see what I'm doing with my body? I'm making sure. I'm just doing something stupid to make sure that I know what I'm calling for. Don't sit there and, I see people do this all the time. Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna know what just happened? That's how you crash your plane, guaranteed. Because you're gonna have your ailerons reversed and you're gonna crash. So, roll, think about it. Yep, that's going down, that's going up. If you're new to the hobby, if you've been experienced for a while, you start to see these things pretty easy, okay? But that's about the time you make stupid mistakes. Elevator up, elevator down, yaw left, yaw right, okay? Roll left, roll right, elevator up, elevator down. All right, everything's working. Now, throttle cut is currently on, throttle cuts off. Full throttle, throttle cuts back on. It's tested. I'm in AS3X. I can see movement on the rudder, elevator, ailerons, okay? Flipping it upside down, turning off AS3X, look at the movement, nothing. Now, safe. Oh, quickest route to level, looks like that, okay? Now, look at the elevator. Trying to come out of a dive, okay, good, that's where it's gonna be. Trying to come out of a climb, remember, I got no hands on the sticks, this thing's just gonna auto level. Beautiful, okay? So safe is working, AS3X is working, off is working. Throttle cut's working. Gains are working. Gain set to about 1 instead of 2 times, or you could call it 50%. The lights are working. The gate's working. The flaps are working. The ailerons are working. The rudder's working. The elevator's working. All 4 motors are moving the right direction. Throttle cuts off. A little bit of throttle. Blowing, 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 and still moving forward. Throttle cuts on, throttle 6 down. There is nothing else that we can test with the exception of center of gravity. Okay? Center of gravity needs to be tested with all the goodies installed. Goodies don't weigh much, but I still want to test it with the goodies installed. Okay? Where are the predominant goodies, you might say? They're right here, guys. That's your battery. This battery tray got re-glued by yours truly, and it's not even holding, okay? It doesn't keep it from slipping, and you're not gonna be able to get that thing tight enough to keep it from slipping. So, the first thing I need to do is prevent that from slipping and sliding. How do we do that? By the way, we are almost done. In case you have not quite yet fallen asleep watching this video, we are really close to being done. I just gotta get this glue. Okay, so we're gonna cut a little chunk, kind of a thinner strip, if you will. This stuff, watch, battery slippo. Once you put a little pressure on there, I can move my dining set with this, okay? So all this does is it just creates friction. It's just a shelf liner, okay? Really simple, very easy way to install this. Get a little bit of glue. You don't even need the glue technically, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. Little bit of glue, little bit of glue, little bit of glue. It doesn't take hardly any to hold this stuff in place. It's just you don't have to fight it every time you load your battery, okay? Now you can use Velcro if you're into that sort of thing, but if you're anything like me, you don't wanna depend on Velcro being in the right spot on 4 or 5 or 6 different batteries that are all about the same size. It always seems to be in the wrong spot, okay? In my experience. It doesn't mean that that's always the case for everybody else, but for me, they always cover up the label. It's in the wrong spot or some stupid thing is wrong about it. So now that I've got that in there, let me just slide that in. I'm not a real big fan of that wire flopping around, but whatever. So you'll notice it ain't that big a deal now, because look, now it doesn't move, okay? So pretty easy there. The other thing is, we need to mark this at some point. Look, this thing's supposed to use 2200 milliamp hour 4S, which is just crazy to me, 60C, okay? And then we also need to mark the center of gravity. Well, we can't do that yet still because we got to put all this crap together. And once we get all this crap put together, then we're going to be able to test the center of gravity. Cabin crew, are we putting this bump thing on?
Yeah, but not the ones on the back.
What do you mean?
Not those things, just that one.
Why? Oh, yeah, not
Because we don't want to cover up the stars and bars on the back.
Yeah, right. I understand. The gun things, the gun
Yeah.
pods. So this is going to go here.
Yeah.
Okay. We can do that. I'll show you how to do that. A little bit of glue. Doesn't take much. Just a little bit. There is a kind of a concave shape to it. Mm-hmm. Is that about where it needs to be?
Yeah, I think it's right about the prop line.
Okay, so we'll just do that. Pull it a couple of times. Stick it down, we're done. Okay, yep. That's gonna be good. It's not gonna shift the gravity hardly at all. The center of gravity is gonna barely be impacted by that, full disclosure. And I know that, and you guys know that, everybody knows that. Okay, so we got wiper blades. We've got this thingy. This thingy goes on the back. Now, you're probably asking yourself, would you really glue that with China glue? And the answer is, yeah, probably. CA just, I don't know. I just feel like this stuff works so good for gluing little small, little nitpicky things like this. But sometimes you gotta slather it a little bit. Okay. Work it a little bit, go back side to side. Get that thing square the way you like it, and you're done. Then, these red ones go on the vertical stabilizer, but I don't know exactly where the holes are. Could you tell? Right there.
There.
Maybe? Yep. Ooh, crap. So I'm gonna do this. Just like that. A little bit of schmutz on there. Whoa, geez, that was like way more than I needed.
You schmutz the other one too.
Yeah. I gotta find the hole first. Okay. So there's the hole. Man, those decals are just kind of, they're very
really
like thin and not gonna last very long. I've already had problems with the one over there. Remember, next to the servo. Mm-hmm. Okay, so get a little bit on there. See what I'm fighting, guys? Okay. Slide this in. Give it a twist. Slide that in, give it a twist, okay? Now, if you want to make sure that that holds forever, you can do all sorts of things, or you can just stick it in there and never think about it again. Because you won't until you crash, and then you'll be like, oh, I broke that thing off.
That little thing.
It's going to be the first thing that breaks off because they're just not very well held.
Right.
You know, they're small. And, you know, frankly, testing the center of gravity with these little things, they probably in total weigh like 1/5 of a gram.
Yeah.
So I'm like really not even worried about them for weight, but I still want them on there anyway. So let's do this. They're so small.
Are there 2 pitot tubes on each side?
Yeah, there's a total of 4 of them on this model. In real life, gosh, it's like really hard for me to hold these things. So we'll just do it like this. I mean, it's a cool looking detail and they match really nicely for color.
Yeah.
I'm surprised actually that they match that good. Mm-hmm. That's pretty unusual. And it's pretty unusual for a scale plane to have this much of a small detail on it. I just think in the era of 3D printing, it's pretty unusual to see a manufacturer send parts like this. That is not something we see every day. And it's funny because we just did that helicopter here just the other night, and man, that glue is just, it's making me nervous. Like it's gonna, ooh, there it goes.
That.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's gonna just shoot out all over the place. Sorry, I know I'm trying not to block you guys, but I just don't really think I can do it without blocking you. Because it's such a small piece, it's like, how do you do that? Okay. There's wiper blades here too, hon. Mm-hmm. I know that was the thing you asked for Christmas, was wiper blades on a C-130.
Yeah.
So you have to send a thank you letter to Hobby King for getting that integrated for you. All right, so those are in, as imperfect as they may be. So then the wiper blades, gosh, I'm a little bit torn on exactly how those are positioned. It looks like these ones are going to be plastic on plastic. They look really good, but I don't think I can in good conscience use China glue on that. I got to use CA for that one. So I'll get some CA right now.
Okay.
And once we're done with that, then we can check the center of gravity. By the way, have you guys noticed the amazing lights on this model?
Yeah.
They look fantastic. They look super scale and they are extremely bright. So I'm really happy with that. If you guys have never had an Avios model, and you don't remember back in the day when the Avios models had trillions of details but flew like bricks, you won't have an appreciation for what I'm saying. But I gotta say, this model seems really good to me. I think they've done a fantastic job on it. Oh, by the way, they do send some double-sided, or not double-sided, but Velcro, male and female side, so, or hook and loop side. For us, sometimes we use that hook and loop to mount our
receiver.
No, to mount our shelf liner. In this case, we used glue. And that's fine. You could use whatever you want to get the job done. It really does not matter to us. But I do want you to understand that we try to show this in such a way that you can adapt it to your own needs based on the way you like to build stuff, okay? So I am gonna use these forceps because there ain't no way I can hold on to this. There's just not, okay? And it is crazy, just a couple of like really small, intricate details like this really will dress up a plane actually a lot, in my opinion. You know what I don't have?
Kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go get it?
I don't know.
Okay.
So far, so good. Hasn't fallen off yet.
Okay.
Okay, so as you can see, that is a very small part for a 1600 millimeter plane. Very unusual to see such an intricate setup on a 1600 millimeter plane, guys. That is nutty. That is nutty. I mean, nutty in a good way. Okay, now my next question becomes, do I glue up at the top too? Probably, right?
Yeah, probably. It's not like they're functional.
Keep in mind that CA and kicker is going to tend to fog that really bad. So if you can resist the temptation to use kicker in this application, you're going to have better results. But it's still CA, and it will still fog a little bit if you're not careful, okay?
Okay.
So there's that. Man, we are making progress. I'm like, this has been a long build, no doubt, but it's been about a lot less than it should have been based on other planes we've done of similar echelon. And for that reason, I'm pretty happy because when a build is really terribly long, it makes it difficult on us and it's difficult to film. But we don't want to cut corners and leave our audience wanting for help. Because at the end of the day, if you knew how to do all this crap, you'd probably not be watching our channel, okay? And when you're just returning to the hobby, there is so much stuff that these manufacturers just assume everybody knows through osmosis. And you know what? They don't. That's why we do these videos, and we've been doing it for a decade, helping thousands of different people just like you to figure out the answers to their stupid questions that they're too embarrassed to ask because they see a community of RC enthusiasts and they're just like, I don't want to ask what a LiPo is. Well, it's a lithium polymer battery. We will teach you that stuff on this channel.
Are you going to need that for CG?
For the CG?
Yeah. Where are you going to mark the CG?
That's the marking. The CG is the next big move. But also, we got drop tanks. Not sure how to handle that.
Okay.
So if you're brand new and you're thinking, Brian, that was a huge time commitment, I feel overwhelmed by the amount of information we learned, that's fine. Or if you watched and you're like, good Lord, Brian, I could have done that in my sleep. Trust me, there's a lot of people that could have. 65 millimeters from the leading edge. How do we know? Because it was on that screen. You guys probably just didn't see it. I'm zeroing my calipers, and then I'm going to walk out 65 millimeters. They do not give a plus or minus. Full disclosure, it does not need to be exact, but it needs to be pretty close. 65 millimeters back is here. Okay, I'm going to mark the top on both sides. Okay, now, I'm not flipping this thing upside down to check the CG, but I still want it marked upside down so that I can see it from the top. I want it marked underneath too, okay? So that I can feel it, right? So that's what you were asking for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I finally understood what you mean, but that's okay. I'll just do this instead because I'm lazy.
Okay.
Are you ready, hon?
Yeah.
Come put a hand on this hatch. Okay, thank you. So I still have my 65 millimeters pulled out. Don't let go.
I won't.
So I'm just measuring here to a spot where I can get my fingers in there. Ah, dang it, that's on a piece of tape. I gotta go out a little deeper. Yeah, see, now I've got a detent. Yeah, and this is gonna be about the same. Okay, so I've got a detent. And now I can turn that caliper off, put it into the package, and I can darken the hole. That's the center of gravity. That's the center of gravity. Now, you want this thing to be slightly nose down when you're balancing it. If your battery is in the right position, and if you don't need to add additional things. Okay, let go.
Got it.
Yep, got it. So now I'm gonna flip this over, put the nose into my belly. And my index finger is leaning, it's leaning forward a little bit, okay? Probably more than I want it to, okay? Admittedly, it was leaning more than I wanted. So I'm gonna grab this thing, pull it open. I'm gonna slide the battery back a long ways, just because I don't wanna dink around. This has been a long enough video. It is kind of hard to feel that little detent because it is in an awkward spot, folks, but you get that with planes like this. Okay, I'm on the center of gravity mark and it's still leaning forward, okay?
Okay.
So as a result, and by the way, I'm just trying to keep the wing away from the transmitter so you don't accidentally hit the throttle. I'm gonna slide this little Velcro back as I go. I'm gonna slide the battery all the way to the bulkhead, and I will have to tighten that strap if that's where we end up riding the battery, okay? But that's a 2200 4S, 30C pack, which is insufficient technically. So a heavier battery is still gonna be forward of the center of gravity right now. So that means it's going to undermine our capability to have a perfect center of gravity. Now, if I go forward slightly, that's where it likes to balance right there, okay?
Okay.
So that means right now it is more nose heavy than we want it to be as prescribed in the manual. How does that flesh out to you as a pilot? It means the elevator is going to be not as effective as it would otherwise be. It's also going to fly more stable, more overstable. And an overstable plane is going to tend to fly easier for the layman, okay? I'm a pretty decent pilot. I'm not a terrible pilot, but I've been doing this for 10 years or so. There's people that have been flying a lot longer than me that fly a lot better than me, and there's people that have been flying a lot longer than me that fly a lot worse than me. It just depends on how much you do it. But I will tell you this. I don't fancy myself some sort of an especially amazing pilot. I'm just an ordinary guy that does it a lot, okay? So when I fly a plane that's nose heavy, I don't have a huge problem flying it. Sometimes I have a problem landing it, okay? Because it just, you don't have enough to pull out of your dive. You don't have enough to bring it in. But I don't think we're far enough off to write anything home about that. This battery is probably the battery I'd prefer to run on because it's a 50C pack. This thing bogs with full throttle. I don't like that, and that's static loading, meaning I'm just holding it still, running the throttle. Dynamic loading is gonna be different. You're gonna be carrying inertia, there'll be different forces impacting the flight performance. But it's very unusual that we get full throttle on a plane and we have an engine bog, okay? So I just don't think we're gonna be doing this plane on a 30C pack. The other thing too is when you put on those big ordnance, well, drop tanks, not ordnance so much, this will change a lot of stuff, okay? They're big. They make an impact on the way a plane flies, okay? Now, do they look sweet? Yeah, they do look pretty sweet, but is it good enough to justify the additional conflicts that come with it? I don't know. It just depends on your taste. That does come out. Are we gonna try to take that out just to show the people? What do you think?
Okay.
You think so?
I mean, we usually do.
Okay, so watch.
But it's gonna screw it up.
Not really. Or is there a way to just
It's
peel?
weird that they're magnetic, but you have to take the... Okay.
No, they come out. It's just, I'm not a big fan of that, but It works. It's not maybe ideal, but...
You want to set it on the couch and I can hold it again?
No, I just want you to take this and pull that one out real quick.
Geez. I'm not.
Just stick it in there. It's not hard. It's not hard. Just stick it in there.
Okay.
All it is just a magnet, guys. Okay, now look. Now the drop tanks are on, okay? Which looks sweet. But I am gonna warn you, I'm just gonna try to test the CG upside down, which normally we wouldn't do that on this type of plane, but we're gonna do it on this plane. The pitot tubes, I ran into them with my fingers. Big surprise, they are. Okay, I'm balancing. It's nose heavy. That's the way it is. I don't think it's gonna change much. Okay. Because the only way to make this any less nose heavy would be to add weight to the back. And I generally don't fly planes with tail weight. I don't do it. That doesn't mean you have to do that. But I just don't like adding dead weight to planes. If I'm gonna add something to it, it's going to be in the order of a battery. And I'm beginning to understand why they call out a 2200 4S. You know why?
Because you can't put a bigger battery in it.
Because if you put a bigger battery in it, you blow the CG.
Yeah.
You make it way too nose heavy. And then that invalidates the elevator. Slowly but surely, it flies worse and worse and worse. And the next thing you know, you have a pretty doggy plane, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you used a smaller battery, you shift the CG less forward. Hence, maybe you can have luck with that Hobby King product. That being said, the 60C battery is going to be more heavy than the one that we have right there, okay? I charged a 4000 and a 3200, one from Arrows, one from Hobby King. Here's the 4000 from Turnigy. It's going to be way too heavy for that thing, okay? So the only way you're going to be able to fly with the Hobby King battery that's bigger, which I think this thing could handle more weight, is you're going to have to take that battery and you're going to have to figure a way to get it up on top of all the landing gear apparatus.
Oh, geez.
Which is kind of like saying, no, you're not going to do that. Follow? Do you see why?
Yeah.
Because there ain't no way you're doing that.
Or, yeah. But that chunky battery doesn't weigh as much even if it's back further.
Okay. So, lots of things to consider for your own personal experience. This battery was a battery I was hoping I could use. This battery is the battery that might end up fitting. So let's pop that in there and just see how bad it looks. And then we're gonna wrap it up because we are basically done with this model, okay? When I say done, I mean we're done with the Unbox build radio setup. We haven't flown it yet, okay? That was a China Hobby Lines battery. So let's see, and that's why they had it back there. It's kind of cool, that little BEC.
Little blue light, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of handy.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna undo this Velcro. By the way, the bite is wider on this. This is a thicker pack, okay? Just for grins, I'm just gonna slide it back there, okay? One dance, two dances. If something was gonna go awry, it would have already gone awry, so we should be good to go. Okay, now I'm gonna reach back to where it should be for center of gravity. I am gonna validate and then double validate. And you'll notice that we're still slightly nose down, but just ever so slightly. I would say that that is as good as we've had it, okay? All right, that is all we can squeeze into this super short video called the Unbox Build Radio Setup. If you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, you don't know how we do this, we do Unbox Build Radio Setups for all the models that we do. And we have a maiden flight or flights that will proceed or happen at the same time that we release the footage for the Unbox Build Radio Setup. So if you're watching us fly something, it's either a revisit, a second thoughts, or the maiden flight. Or some special activity where somebody came, a subscriber came and stopped and flew with us, or we went somewhere, did something fun, or we went to an event, okay? But the basic rule of thumb is if you've seen us do a plane, we have more footage about it, okay? So if you're looking for more answers, that's the first tool in your tool bag if you're using Brian Phillips RC to help you get where you want to get. But also another big tool is bprc.me, where you can find all the different products that we've reviewed. You can see them, you can see our unbox build radio setup, and we also have, of course, links back to the playlist so you can find all of the different videos we've done about a particular product, up to and including the crash of that said product, okay? Not every product that we fly crashes, just to be clear, but lots of them do ultimately end up crashed for one reason or another, okay? So hopefully we answered all your questions about this product. If you want to see another C-130 or something similar, check out bprc.me or brianphillipsrc.com if you can spell my name properly. That's where you would go if you want to spell it out, or bprc.me is the short link, okay? Sort by type or brand that we worked with. This is a Hobby King product, but Hobby King sometimes does sell rebranded stuff, just like other brands do, like Horizon or E-Flight or whatever. So when you're looking, you can sort by type if you're not sure what brand it was under. Helicopters are really bad about that, so it's incredibly difficult to find them. So look for the picture, use that to get to the playlist at YouTube, and then you can watch through what you want to see. Also, leave your questions and comments down in the comment section down below. We'll do our best to get to you. And if you want to support us in other ways beyond buying these products from the links in the video description below, which is the #1 financial way you can support us, because we want you guys to be getting planes that you want, helicopters, VTOLs, drones, whatever it is that we're reviewing, helicopters like that. I want you guys flying, not just sending money, okay? You can send money if you want. We're not going to twist your arm. For years we said no, but it was just a pride thing, and I was like, whatever. If people want to help, we're going to let people help. So we have Patreon if you want to help and be a monthly supporter. You can do a YouTube membership and join the channel, so to speak, and those are both welcome and appreciated. And then we have one-time donations through PayPal if you'd rather just do one time. You don't want to be part of a club. Maybe you just got money that comes in, you know, when you have a good week or whatever. Your wife says, hey, if you buy another plane, I'm going to leave you. And she's like, hey, I want to send a few bucks to help, you know, offset something. Go for it. Whatever trips your trigger. And then we also have Patreon for monthly, PayPal. What's the other one?
Super thanks.
Super thanks. One-time donations. Sorry, I almost forgot that one. All of them are appreciated, but really at the end of the day, we just want you flying, buying batteries, transmitters, whatever it is you're going to buy anyway. Just buy it from the links. You'd be surprised. It supports us probably better than you think, okay? So just keep up with it. It's a volume thing for us. Don't feel bad if you don't always do it, but it does help us drastically because we're spending money like crazy on our aerodrome right now, okay? So every little bit helps, and we appreciate you guys being here, not only watching the videos, but smashing the like button. This is a very niche-y audience in a niche-y world of niches like this. Help us out. There's a million people who are going to see our competitors' offerings. They're not going to bring the value that we bring, but it also means that they're a lot shorter and a lot more refined. They're going to have higher view counts, higher subscriber counts, and I could care less because we're trying to bring real audience retention, organic growth. We don't pay for any of that crap. All of our competitors are paying for that stuff. They're paying to reach audience. We don't, okay? We're here trying to bring you guys real value. So help us out when you can. Also, on the way out the door, if you haven't already subscribed, click the bell to get notifications of new content from Brian Phillips RC so that when you do see something you can't live without, we'll help you cross it off the list if it's a wrong fit for you. Because at the end of the day, we don't want you guys to get this if it's a wrong fit for you, but we do want you to get it if it's amazing and you can't live without it. All right, that's all we got for you. Everything is set up on this plane. Everything has been tested. I could fly it right now if it weren't dark and 37-mile-an-hour wind at 0 degrees, but we will be flying it in low temperatures, just not necessarily at 37 miles an hour wind and dark. So we hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching. So much more from Brian Phillips RC right around the corner. Come back for more.